Hello, Fishy, by the way. And Jose, I think I saw a comment earlier. Anyway, I'm not. Well, I am late this time, but I'm not as late as last time. Is what I'm trying to say. But all right. I think I'm live, right? Didn't forget to press the live button. You know, there is an auto start on YouTube, so you have to enable it first before you just press the button. You missed Twitch emotes? Yeah, there are emotes, but I guess I mean, I'm not used to it. Like, there's no anime emotes. That's why I was thinking of enabling like YouTube membership, whatever, which is the equivalent of Twitch subscribers. We gotta pay for it, but I mean, I could make like custom emojis, maybe. I don't know. Still not sure about that though. Anyway, let's see. I guess, yeah, today is Sunday, April 9th. Is it... How does Easter work, by the way? I don't know how Easter works. Tomorrow's Easter Monday. Is it Easter? Well, is it technically Easter Sunday or something? I don't know how Easter works. I just know there's eggs involved. It's just, bunnies that lay eggs for some reason, which makes no sense. I don't know. Just made up. But yeah, today I'm gonna play, I guess, this weird game, that got taken down on Steam, by the way. But I noticed this when it first came out. Tax Heaven 3000. It's a quirky little game. I think it's mostly meant to be funny, It'd be fun. I don't think there's any kind of like special twist, There's no like Doki Doki Literature Club twist or anything, but I think it's just supposed to be just a silly game about doing your taxes, but with like it's an anime, dating sim visual novel. I don't know. I just thought it was pretty funny, so I wanted to check it out. And maybe it's educational, actually. I don't know, do your taxes, right? What's the tax deadline? I already did my taxes, but technically people are still doing the taxes, right? What's the tax deadline? Just Google it. Tax deadline. Yeah, I got taken down on Steam. There was no what's the word? There was no explanation, no official explanation, but people theorize it's because it's like tax software, so like they're asking, for example, for your like, I don't know what we call it in America, but in Canada it's like a social insurance number or something like that, right? Like your social security number, rather. Now that's what they call it in America. And so Steam probably didn't like that because they're asking for sensitive information. And that's why they probably took it down. I'm not entirely sure, though. That's what I've heard as a rumor, but I don't know if Steam ever gave like an official explanation. But the developers, put it up on itch.io instead, and and then you can just download it itch.io instead. But yeah, that's why it got taken down. But yeah, I'm just gonna play. I don't know if it's gonna be entertaining or not. I just think it's a funny idea, so that's why I'm doing it. And yeah, people do taxes. I don't know. Maybe it's good for analytics. How to do taxes. That's what they always. That's what you always want to make videos of on YouTube. By the way, you do like how-to videos. So it's like how to do taxes. A lot of people might be searching how to do taxes. I don't know. Be funny. But for me though, I'm Canadian for one. I mean, other than the fact that I already did my taxes, this is actually for Americans, actually. So I don't know how it's gonna work. I'm just gonna put in some random information. I'm not gonna put my real information, obviously. But I guess we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. And I also don't know how long this game is. I'm assuming it's pretty short. Yeah, I don't know how how fast you can do your taxes. Especially if it's like easy taxes, I guess, for most people. I think this game doesn't do like very complicated taxes. Like if you own your own business or whatever, I don't imagine it helps you with that. It just helps with most people who have like a employer or whatever, That's for most people. Anyway, what am I trying to say? Oh yeah. If if I finish this early, then I'll probably do some of the games. The games I was planning on playing yesterday, actually. I don't know how it works on YouTube. Like, how do I like update the title? Do I update the title, or I just put like other games later question mark. You know, I don't know how that works. On Twitch, you would change the title and put like video markers, but I don't know how that works in YouTube. I think if you change the entire like stream title, it kind of changes the entire like thing. I don't know how it works. Whatever. Anyway, so I guess I'll just start with this. I just woke up, so I'm still a little groggy, but so I'm just thinking how I'm gonna introduce this. So let's see. So it'll be like 10,000, a visual novel by MSCH. I think the name, yeah, MSCHF. I don't know what it stands for necessarily. There's not a lot of information on the game page itself about the developer, but according to Google, it is a art collective. I don't know what an art collective is necessarily, but I think it's just a bunch of people. You know, it's just a bunch of people, like artists and whatnot, who like make their own like group, I guess. I think that's what it stands for. So it's not. It's kind of like a business, but not really. You know. I don't know what it stands for though. You know. Apparently, well, it says here on the Wikipedia, it's pronounced mischief. Oh, okay. That's how you. That's okay. It's a joke. Okay. Or maybe not a joke, but you know, it's supposed to be like a short form for mischief, apparently. And apparently, they just do a bunch of random stuff, like they make sneakers, you know, and like AI generated photographs. I don't know. Apparently, they collaborated with Mr. Beast. Apparently, I don't know. Weird. But I guess this is their latest project. I mean, not the latest one, but one of the most recent ones. They just make a silly visual novel. All right. Okay. So again, I'm rehearsing how I'm gonna introduce this for the video. So gotta warm up my voice as well. Enunciate. Blah, blah, blah. The game loud enough, by the way? I feel like it needs to be a little bit louder. A little bit louder. Looking at OBS. It could be a little bit loud. I can put max volume. I think that's good. Let's see. So, by Mr. Available on the show. Apparently, that teach you how to do your taxes. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. All right. Hello and welcome to Tax Heaven 3000, a visual novel developed by Mischief, available on itch.io, and apparently it is a dating sim that teaches you how to do your taxes. You know, isn't that like a novel idea? Let's check it out. All right. Let's see here. What is my name? Well, I'm not gonna put my real name, but I'll just put, I don't know. I'll put SighingSlider. I don't know. And my last name, I didn't really think too far ahead of this. And by the way, you know, I mean, other than the fact that I'm not really putting my real information, I'm also Canadian, and this software apparently only helps people in America. It teaches you how to do American taxes. So I don't know how this is going to work necessarily, but I mean, I'm just going to put random information. I mean, okay, I'll just put like Slider. It's kind of weird though. They're going to call me Sighing or something. You know, I rather, you know, people, if you're going to call me by a nickname instead of calling my full like handle name, I'd rather be called Slider, not Sighing. Sighing just sounds weird because it doesn't, you know, it's a verb, you know, but anyway, whatever. This will save, by the way. Game has been saved. Great. Lower text speed a little bit, actually. Okay. Alright. Phew, there we go. I officially moved in. Moving sure obliterates your ability to think about anything else. My mind is drained, and after hauling chairs into a new apartment, my body isn't feeling much better. Still, it's a fine, bright day. This spring could be a fresh start. I'll be more organized, happier. Maybe I'll even find that special someone. With my flat screen TV on the floor. Might as well walk around and get to know the town a little bit. Plus, I need to grab a pencil to fill out some final paperwork for my lease. I should keep an eye for a stationery store or something. Well, it's certainly not the biggest town in the world, but then again, there's always something to be said for walkable infrastructure. There's a cute cafe near me, and the streets seem pretty lively. There's a bit of a business district, too. Oh, here we go. Is this a stationery store? It has a cute mascot, some kind of rabbit, and a cheerful font for the store name, Mulberry Press. I'm never sure exactly what kind of products a store like this sells, but I bet I can at least get a pencil in here. Whoa! Okay, here's Iris, the main character of this game. Uh-oh. Watch out! Ooh. And she has a toaster in her mouth, and then... yikes, I was so caught up trying to decipher the concept of this. Huge little store? I don't know what HYGGE stands for, to be honest. But the contents of this little store that I wasn't paying attention to where I was going, and now I've bumped into... Are you okay? This incredibly cute girl. That reminds me of a different game, Anyway, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you there. You're not hurt, are you? Yeah, it looks like I'm fine. But hang on. How about as an apology, you tell me your name? Wait, what? Is she saying that, or am I saying that? Because if I'm saying that, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Anyway. Or, I guess she's saying sorry. I don't know. It's weird. What a weird... I don't know. What a weird transition. Anyway. My name's Iris. What's yours? I'm Sighing, I guess. I just moved here. Oh, really? So, Sighing, are you a US resident? Well, save the game. I imagine this ends the game because, yeah, as I mentioned earlier before, this game, I think, only helps you if you're an American. So, what if I didn't say that? Well, I'm not. Sighing, I think you're pretty kind of cute, but I don't think you can do long distance right now. Maybe it's better if we just go separate ways. And the game is over. That's funny. Well, let's not do that. Because I actually want to play the game, I guess. Sure. I sure am. Yeehaw! America! That's my American impression. This girl makes a weirdly nationalist first impression. Okay, so I guess I'm saying this, okay. Say, you were just coming out of the store when you bumped into me, right? Is it a stationery store? I need to buy a pencil. Oh, Sai, do you like stationery? I have a little notebook that I write everything down in. What I did today, new things I learned, cute people. Well, anyway, it's like a second memory. Here, these are for you. Right. I never use, what do you call these? I don't know what you call these. Lead pencils, I guess? Or, I don't know, it says technical pencil. I never use, these kinds of pencils. I always use the classic ones, the ones where you would put it in a, shaver, I guess. Anyway, this is a really fancy technical pencil and a super cute eraser. I don't think I ever put this much thought into choosing a writing instrument in my life. I've tested a lot of writing supplies and these are my favorites. You never know when you'll need a good pencil, Sighing. Maybe you want to write down your social security number or give someone your phone number. You don't say. Thank you, Iris. It's so exciting to move to a new town. I'd be happy to show you around. I can't speak. I'd be happy to show you around and maybe talk some more. If you're not too busy, that is. I know it's tax season, so some people are... Oh, I love that. Okay. I need to get back to work. How about getting coffee tomorrow? 12:30, okay? I'll meet you at the cafe. Wow, lucky. I can't believe I bumped into this super cute girl, this super cute anime girl outside a stationery store, and on my first real day in town. Amazing. Wait, did she say tax season? The true horror. It's almost April 18th, and I haven't done my taxes. Now's not the time to worry about it, but I have to deal with that soon. In any case, I got a day with cute girls to look forward to. At least I think it's a date. It's strange, by the way. I know for America, when you do your taxes, it's like typical taxes and whatnot, as you know. Or you may not know, I don't know if you're not familiar with doing taxes. But I think in Europe, it's a lot different, actually. I think in Europe, you don't actually do your taxes. The government does it for you, and then you just get a letter in the mail, and that's it. You do a little check mark, and then you're done. I don't know. That's what I've heard anyway. But let's see. I needed a good rest after unpacking all day yesterday. What now? I told Iris I'd meet her for coffee. Better get going. Like, yeah, apparently in Europe, I mean, as far as I've heard, I don't know for sure because I don't live in Europe, but apparently, for most people, I think, the government just checks, how much income you made, and they're like, okay, and then just send it to you. You don't have to do that. In North America, it's your job to do that. It's your job to like write down, how much money did you make for your employer, basically. And the employer gives you like a form that tells you that or whatever, like a document rather. And then you write it down, and then you type it into the forms, and then you send it yourself to double check with the government, even though the government kind of already knows how much money you made anyway. But it's a convoluted system to do that. So it's kind of it's kind of a lot easier if you're in Europe. You don't have to really do anything, as far as I've heard anyway. I don't know, or at least maybe it's more simpler. I'm not sure. But here's a local coffee shop. It's cute. Nothing too fancy going on here with their coffee offerings, but definitely a step above your average chain. Hey, Sighing, over here. Iris is waving at me enthusiastically from the corner table. I recognize the little notebook on the table. She really must take it everywhere. I got here a little early. I'm glad you came. It's so exciting meeting a new person in a new place, don't you think? Especially when you're single. Well, actually, Sighing, are you filing singly or jointly on your 2022 federal tax return? Yes. Is she trying to ask whether I'm single or not? That's a weird way to do it. But I guess I'm not in a position to judge the first person I met in a new town. I do believe you... I mean, yeah, if you are married, I guess, you can do your taxes jointly, and then it's like and then you have like specific tax benefits, if I remember correctly. So like, one person can like claim certain credits for both people, I think, depending on what you're claiming, I guess. I guess filing singly, I guess. Oh, that's great. You're a single filer, and you're not married, are you? I guess it's a choice. You don't have to file jointly, I guess. Nope, not married. Yay, I'm single too, as an anime girl. I could give you a hand of your taxes if you want, Sighing. Oh, I mean, only if you want to. We could compare notes as we go. Yes. Iris seems a bit flustered by her own sudden rush of enthusiasm. I'm not sure it's my first choice of activity, but I could use all the help I can get when it comes to taxes. Hello, White Rabbit, by the way. I just started, actually. This is if you didn't know, this game teaches you how to do your taxes, basically. Or at least helps you do your taxes, anyway. Except it's an anime girl. So you're a single filer. Do you have any dependents? Dependents, meaning kids, No. Or I could say any what. No, let's learn what dependents are, actually. Well, dependents are either a qualifying child or a qualifying relative. For example, a child, stepchild, brother, sister, or parent. I guess, yeah, if you take care of your parents as well, depending or rather could also be dependent. Wow, you really know a lot about this stuff, don't you? Well, I don't know everything, but I try my best. No. But no? I see, you don't have any qualifying children or relatives as dependents? No. With this I'm trying not to put like sensitive information, but like, will these questions actually kind of dox me? I don't know. I'm not sure. Don't worry about it. No dependents. Well, Sighing, you come without any strings attached then. I'm also doing my best to avoid any complicated situations. How old are you? Well, okay, so this is definitely, I'm not gonna put my real birth date. Let's say, I don't know, was it like month? Or do I put like this? Let's say, can I put the 1500s? No. Well, I mean, I wonder what she says about that. Oh, I don't know. Let's say, and this is not my real dates, obviously, but I'm just gonna put like that. I actually put this date in particular. I always use if a website asks for my birth date, and I just like, what's your birthday, or whatever. I'm like, I just put a fake one. But yeah. 33, huh? I see. What if we got to know each other's financial situation a little better, Sai? For 2022, what types of income did you have? There are lots of types, so maybe the easiest thing is just look for the forms you received. So I don't know any of these forms. What's the most basic form, actually? What if I say what? Well, so a Form W-2 is issued by a full or part-time employer and reports your income for the year as well as the amount of tax withheld from your paychecks. You should receive one of these from any job where you're an official employee as opposed to freelance gig work or self-employment. A Form 1099-G reports income you receive from unemployment compensation. A Form SSA 1099 reports income you receive from your Social Security benefits. A Form 1099-INT reports interest income from bank account, credit union, or a few other cases. In general, if you have any types of these incomes, you receive appropriate form. How do you know all this? I just try my best. There's always more to learn. Alright. Well, most likely then, I have this equivalent in Canada. Again, I'm not putting my real information, but, you know, this is the form that most people get, I imagine. I mean, I got mine too, but, you know. I think in Canada, it's called a T4, I think. Or something like that. I think, yeah, at least in North America, this is the most common form that you get. You know, you work for an employer, and then by tax season, you know, they're supposed to give you like a document that tells you, how much did you make, how much of that money went to taxes, and how much of that went to other stuff or whatever. You know, I know in Canada there's something called the Canadian Pension Plan, and I think employment insurance. I think like part of that money just goes towards that. You know, and I think I can't remember which is which, but I think the company are supposed to like put money into that too, is the idea. It's for retirement, you know. So I imagine America, you know, United States of America does something similar. Everything else is just like, you know, dependent if you have other stuff, I guess. But yeah, you know, if I guess, well, any other more complicated taxes, I imagine, isn't covered by this game. Well, actually, let me see. I'm gonna save the game. Any other form? Oh wow. Don't take this the wrong way, but your finances are a little intimidating. I'm not really looking for something that's serious right now. Maybe it's better to go our separate ways. There you go, yeah. So anything more complicated than that, like, for example, if you own your own business, that's the thing I feel like, yeah, that's more complicated. Because it depends on how much money you make. But if you're incorporated, then you have to start calculating your own taxes. You know, like, for example, when you buy something from the grocery store, you always see on the receipt, you know, the taxes, you know, how much you are taxed. If you own your business, then you have to do that yourself. You know, you have to like calculate your own taxes when you charge people, basically, as like a freelancer or like a contractor or whatever. Depending, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, you have to like do it yourself. That's why it's more complicated. But yeah, I don't know. For most people though, it's just this. And I always hear though, you know, people always say, I always hear it actually. People go, oh, I don't know how to do my taxes. It's so difficult. And it might be because I'm spoiled because I just use tax software, but it's actually pretty easy, you know, for most people anyway. Again, it depends if you actually are like, I don't know, a business owner. But if you're not and you're just an employee, then it's actually quite simple. It's just plugging in those numbers. But anyway, I guess we'll see. Got it. I think I can handle you. Isn't that great to meet people who are in place in their life that's similar to yours? Of course, anyone could relate to anyone. But there's a certain chemistry that exists when your situations are similar, wouldn't you say? Iris sure has a certain starry-eyed energy about her. But I understand that feeling. When you don't have a lot of pre-existing attachments in life, it can be easy and enjoyable to try new things. Iris, you keep asking me about my financial situation. How about you? What do you do for work? Oh, I work at a library. I love being surrounded by books all day. I can learn so much. Like how yarn is made and what coral is. But that's just facts, you know. Also what it's like to love a parent or to be lonely, or how people who have never met can become closer by chance meeting. What a coincidence. Iris seems to realize she's waxing on a bit. I feel like most people learn these things naturally just by growing up and not by reading. Still, she smiles happily. She really does seem to enjoy this thought. Why don't you come and find me there sometime? I'm usually at my desk writing in my notebook when I'm not off in a stack someplace. It's also nice and private most of the time. The library, huh? Not necessarily the first place I go to hang out. Hang on, though. I guess that's an invitation to see each other again? In that case, bury me in books, baby. I guess you could say I'm an analog girl at heart. You don't let your finances get too digital, do you, Sign? Did you sell, trade, gift, or receive any cryptocurrency in 2022? I guess I don't mind too much if you just own some, though. So this is something I'm not familiar with at all. I never got into the whole crypto craze, I guess. The only worthwhile one would have been Bitcoin, but like that's only because a bunch of rich people. I mean, as far as I know, anyway, I'm not an expert on this, but as far as I understood, it's only because a bunch of rich people happened to be convinced to invest in Bitcoin, and therefore the value just skyrocketed. And the few people who took advantage of that, could make a lot of money. But other than that, cryptocurrency is like not really safe, and in fact, it's like, how do you say? It's like it's prone to scams. What was that one meme? It's like BitConnect. That was like one famous scam. You invest your money in like some random like digital virtual currency, and then suddenly, the value drops and you lose all your money. So like, it's just ripe with scams, and I, as far as I know, anyway. Again, I'm not an expert, but like, as far as I understand what cryptocurrency is, it's just like, it's basically money. It's just alternative currency, except it's not like insured by the government, basically. So it's just kind of worse if you're not rich. If you're rich, if you're like a millionaire, then maybe, because the idea is that you use it to evade taxes. It's like, but if not, then I feel like for most people, it's just not worth it. I don't know. It's basically just gambling at that point. Anyway, I'm just going on a big tangent. As far as I understand it, I remember talking to someone in real life, about it, and they said my explanation of that is wrong or something. So I don't know. I have no idea. Not important. I saw through coincidence. I don't really understand the chat messages. Are you guys again desynced? I always wonder if everybody's desynced. Make sure. Unless I'm looking at the chat. That's from 12:43. It's 12:45 now. I don't know. I guess I'm seeing the chat messages kind of delayed. I was just reading the chat messages, and it just seemed like maybe they're just replying to something I said like a few minutes ago or something, or like several minutes ago. Anyway, let's see. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I went on a big tangent, by the way. Something about cryptocurrency, I guess. What is this? Yes, lol. GM friends, wag me. I don't know what any of that meant. Did I do what? Well, let's see. If you don't know what cryptocurrency is, this probably doesn't apply to you. Tell me if you receive any crypto, either for free, as payment, from airdrop, through mining, or through staking. Also, let me know if you saw any crypto for fiat currency or exchange crypto tokens. If you give the crypto to another person. You don't let your finances get too digital, do you? Okay. I mean, no. In real life, no. And, I don't know how it will work, actually. Does the government even tax you for crypto at this point? Maybe they do. I'm just gonna say no. Let's not get too complicated. Oh, you seem pretty savvy. So I'm glad you aren't taken in by a pyramid scheme like that. I mean, it can be, yeah. Again, it's just like, it's so saturated. There's so many people trying to scam people, That's what I heard anyway for crypto. It's really nice to talk with you. I have a good feeling about the two of us. Hey, will you give me your phone number? I'm not sure why. Well, what if I want to call you so you can see each other again, silly? Or what if the IRS needs your contact information and you provided it to them because you've become mysteriously unreachable? Or maybe I want to send you a picture. Okay. Okay. Maybe she just wants to send you cute cat pictures, that's all. What is your phone number? Well, obviously I'm not going to put my real phone number, so I'm going to put like, I don't know, 123 123 1234. Great. Iris puts her phone number into my phone. She's one of those people who uses a forefinger instead of her thumbs to type on the phone. Is there a difference, actually? I don't know. I don't use my phone a lot, actually. I definitely use my forefinger because my phone is actually, I don't know, it's not as, if using my thumb, I use it sometimes, but like, it's kind of hard to use my thumb on the phone. I think it's like relatively big, so I usually use my forefingers. I don't know, is there a difference? It's kind of, Just like an observation I never thought about. Anyway, will you give me your email too? I will be in full contact with you. Sure. In fact, I mean, this is not my personal email, but I'm gonna put my actual email. By the way, if anyone wants to reach me, this is my official business email, quote unquote. It's just a Gmail, but you know, so that's actually an email that I have. I don't mind sharing that. That's public information, actually. It's on my YouTube channel, actually. If you go to the About section, and you click on, you know, contact, business, email, whatever, that's actually my email. Iris is an exceptionally odd conversationalist, but her earnest enthusiasm is charming, despite the fact that she has a acute interest in my tax status. You know, she just wants you for your taxes. After drinking our coffee, the day of Iris concludes smoothly. Gotta run. I'll see you tomorrow, right? Come by the library and find me. Up and at 'em. Today is another lovely day. The fact that I still haven't started my taxes this year is nibbling at the back of my mind a little. But the sun is shining, and I'm meeting Iris at the library. Let's figure out where that is. Where should I go? There you go. 1 out of 4 dates. I got 3 more dates to go, I guess. And $0 refund at the moment. Tax day. Then you go back to the cafe. I don't know why you would, though. So, I mean, I guess... I don't know. Why would you go to a cafe? I got plenty of time. I guess I could stop by the cafe, but maybe it'd be better to go straight to the library. I'll stop by a cafe and get something to drink. It's definitely a cafe chain, but I can see that the small town regulars transform into something a little bit more personal. I can imagine that if I come here enough, it will start to feel homey. Okay. Oh, this is a... I'm assuming optional scene, I guess, to not go straight to the library, maybe. Barista. Yeah. Hi, welcome to Cafe Deductions. Cafe Deductions. What can I get you? Get me... I don't know. I actually don't drink coffee. Matcha? Matcha is a type of tea, I think, right? If I get... I guess I'll get a latte. A latte, I think, has milk in it, right? If I remember correctly, or I could be wrong. I just know I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm not sure. Just give me a black coffee, whatever. Can I get a black coffee? Yep, I'll get that started for you. Go behind the counter, tucks my order slip next to some others. There's a note on some of the order slips with the name of a drink I've never seen. What is it? Hey, what is Venti Chamago Majuji? I don't know how to pronounce that. I can't help but notice it written there. I've never heard of anything like that. Where'd you see that? Ah, I see. It's on the receipt there. But that's not a real menu item. There's this pink-haired girl who orders the craziest thing I've ever seen a human drink. We made a name for it, so we don't have to write all the ingredients down as a custom order. What is in it? Like, what's in it? Pink hair, huh? That sounds familiar. How crazy are we talking? What goes into it? Oh my god, everything. It's got a half dozen espresso shots, milk, condensed milk, every nut milk, matcha powder, bubble pearls, protein powder, turmeric, the new age mushroom powder, and don't even get me started on the flavor shots. It's something like 2,200 calories. If you want to feel insane, I think you could probably survive off of this stuff. Here you go. Okay. Apparently Iris just simply chugs, you know, like some sort of weird meal replacement coffee drink instead of eating. Thank you. Just what I needed. I'll sit for a minute and sip this. Great. We learned lore. Alright, we'll go to the library. This must be where Iris works. I should go see if I can find her. As I walk through the doors of the library, I smell the comforting aroma of old paper and dust. Libraries are like memorials to a bygone age of public amenities. There's an air of solemnity over an otherwise cozy space. Let's figure out where Iris is. To be honest, the last time I visited a library was when there was a power outage in my area, and I was kind of bored because I had no access to internet or anything, or my computer. So I went to the library, and I read. Well, I didn't read. To be honest, I didn't really read. I didn't have time to read much, but there's a section of manga, basically. You know, just old manga that's just in the library, at least my local library anyway. And I was just browsing through manga, really. That's kind of what I did when there was a power outage. Um, but I never went back though. I don't know. I don't really visit libraries all that often. Otherwise, because I don't read books, I just read manga, which is true literature. Anyway, there's a library's assistance desk toward the front with a familiar pink notebook on it. It really is recognizable. I don't see Iris though. Maybe she's off in the stack shelving books or something. Her notebook is sitting there temptingly. Should I peek at it? Say it again. You do your things. Okay, let's just invade her privacy real quick. It's fine, don't worry about it. Just a quick look is all. What's the harm? As like... Oh, okay. I was gonna say ominous music plays, but no, I think it's not ominous. Not too ominous. I don't think so. And just a quick look what's up. Personal details, income, credits, and deductions. Wow, this is a shockingly literal transcription of Iris' day-to-day activities in exhaustive detail. Today, when I woke up, I had orange juice and English muffin with raspberry jam. I'd never had raspberry jam before, when I liked it more than grape jelly, but not as much as orange marmalade. I reread yesterday's diary entry to confirm I remembered everything accurately. I ran out of pattern tape, so at 10:36 a.m., I left to go to the store. While walking on the sidewalk, I passed 2 inhabitants of the town. I purchased 3 rolls of tape for a total of $7.65, 1 strawberry pattern, 1 dot, and 1 floral. While exiting the store, I walked headlong into someone standing outside. Okay. I can see notes where she's gone back and noted past events with updates and cross-references. It's like this notebook is her outsourced memory. Oh wow, this is part about me. It's pretty much everything we're talking about since we met. Okay. First name, last name, cafe? I don't know if it's a typo or not. I didn't put that. I didn't put cafe. Phone number, email, residential address. I don't know a second. Does Iris think I have cafe as the last name? Why'd she write that? That's definitely not right. Damn, that's what I do in my phone contacts when I can't remember someone's name. Maybe I didn't make it as memorable as an impression as I thought. I don't want her to have incorrect information about me, especially since it looks like she rereads these pages with some regularity. Since Iris gave me the exact technical pencil eraser she uses, I can mimic her writing perfectly. Can you? Can you do that? Like just immediately? I should probably edit this line to be my real last name. I guess in the future, if I ever need to correct anything, I tell her I know how to do it. Okay? Errors to resolve. Enter your last name. It's like real tax software. I guess I'll just do that. Alright, all fixed. Should I keep looking at this or close it? Continue? Let's continue looking. I'm curious. Iris records just about every detail of our interactions here. If something isn't right, I can change it so I know she has correct information about me. I don't know for my address. Okay, there's actually more to this, by the way. But yeah, she bumped into us. I met a friend today. I began creating a comprehensive record of our interactions. There's something different about this person. Sure, they seem a little more clueless than average, but I found it charming, like a protagonist in a dating sim visual novel. This all makes me nervous, of course. Having more to care about means more to lose if TT should ever find out, whatever that means. Sometimes, when I take the bus to the library, I find myself pretending the other riders are my family members. I never knew my family. Diary, not really, so this is the second best thing. Kinda sad. Today I imagined man and a bolo tie was my uncle Rocky. I think it's a good name for an uncle, especially one in a bolo tie. Today I tried coffee. I found it a bit boring, but they have all kinds of things behind the counter to put in it. So I tried all of them. It reminded me of the food we used to drink at TT. Sometimes I get nostalgic for those things, even though I'm glad I got out. Is that bad? Okay, so that's what happened. She just tried literally everything. One of everything. Can anyone else claim science independent? Ooh, I didn't mean to. I guess, sure, why not? Okay. There's like more stuff. Huh. You can fill out the blanks yourself, I guess, is the idea. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, that's enough of that. It looks like everything Iris knows about me is accurate. I better get out of here before she comes back to her desk. There's still no sign of Iris. Hang on a second. Looks like I got a text message just a moment ago. It sounds like I won't get to see her today after all. Hey, sorry, I got stuck doing some work in the library archive room today. I'll make it up to you. Is that her phone number? Is that a real phone number, by the way? Like in real life? Well, at the very least, I was able to edit my information in her diary. If I'm correct, it seems like she reviews the diary every morning. So now she'll know my name properly. Kind of weird though, isn't it? It's like, suddenly there's new information. Someone went into your like diary and wrote in the information. I don't know. I'm sorry I missed you yesterday. Do you want to meet me at the cafe? I've been looking forward to seeing you again. Or I've got to run an errand at the library branch office. You can keep you company. Okay, Iris texted. Where should we go for a makeup date? Where should we go? Can I just go to the library anyway? So there's a choice here, but let's go to the library. I can edit her diary if I need to. Walk around the library a bit. Maybe I'll check out a book. Just thinking about it makes me nostalgic. Being a little kid in school is most people's introductions to libraries. And it's funny to think it probably colors your impression of the space forever after. Library patron. Hey there, excuse me. Another library patron is waving to me with a friendly expression. She's loaded down with an armful of books. She appears to be a library power user. She has the power of library. Do you think you could help get a book down for me? My hands are a bit full at the moment. It's that red one up on the third shelf. She points to the thin volume on the shelf in front of where she's standing. No, I don't do this helping people. Who would help anyone? You know, it's all about me. And what do I gain from it? No, okay, fine. Thanks so much. I'm Yolanda. What's your name? I don't think I've seen you around before. Something about the way she says it makes me think Yolanda spends a lot of time in the library. She sounds like she expects to recognize anyone who comes in here. I'm Sighing. I moved to a town a few days ago. I just recently met this girl who works here. Oh, you must mean Iris. Isn't she just a joy? Although, don't you think she's a bit odd? What do you mean odd? Not in a bad way, mind you. Just, she's very peculiar. For one thing, she's a voracious reader. Or voracious reader? She even puts me to shame. The speed she goes through a book, it's like she's a machine. She certainly does seem quite studious. I remember when she first started here, it was like she didn't know how to interact with anyone. She would just sit and power through books, all subjects from the World Almanac to Dickens novels. Then all of a sudden, it was like she was a new person, friendly, outgoing. Yolanda shakes her head, cutting herself off. She clearly didn't mean to ramble on like this. What am I even saying? She's a very nice girl, don't listen to me rambling on. Thanks for helping me with my books. Alright. There's some like subtle hints that Iris is like a weirdo, by the way. Like she's not normal for some reason. But anyway. Okay, so we have a choice to go cafe or office. I mean, I feel like, yeah, this is an actual choice. I mean, I'd rather just go to a new place. You know, I want to see a new background art. So let's go to office. I think Iris said she wanted to I think Iris said she wanted me to keep her company while she went to the office building. Hey, Sighing, over here. I don't have to go to the branch office very often. I don't really like the atmosphere in here. Thanks for keeping me company today. The library branch office is a pretty stereotypical office. The rows of desks and cubicles, the water cooler, the copying machine. It's so picture perfect, it almost feels like a set dressing. I'm not entirely sure why this dry, stereotypical office building makes Iris uncomfortable, but I'm happy to tag along if it means I can spend more time with her. Uh-oh, the copy machine isn't working. Can you help me fix this? Way to put me on the spot, Iris. Fixing a photocopier in front of a live, very attractive audience. There are a few worse things I can imagine. Now, usually, you just gotta check the, a lot of printers these days just have the troubleshooter on the screen, actually. You know, they have like digital screens you just look at. Okay, here we go. This is no problem. You can troubleshoot a photocopier. Type a command. Wow, Sai, you're really technical. What's wrong? Don't stop now. Oh, jeez, what the heck is this? This appears to be a terminal access to the photocopier. What am I supposed to do? Hack the machine? Oh, so you can hack the machine, right? Should be pretty simple. Oh my god, I'm about to embarrass myself in front of Iris. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't sit here. I gotta type something here. Type a command. Help. What? Code set. Ah, yes. Module initialize. I'm just so good, I guess. Ah, yes. Look at me coding. Oh shit, I'm on fire. Max font files. Import. Max memory blocks. Max network connections. Equals 5. Variable. Memory blocks. Array. 0 to 10 of machine 2 memory block. Network connections. Array. I'm totally typing all of this myself. Wow, so cool. Initialize. Begin. I am the one, Iris. Witness me. I'm the chosen one. Apparently. I'm not even typing this. Like, there's no keyboard, you know, on the machine. Yeah, I don't see a keyboard anyway. Initialize memory, initialize network. I mean, all of this should be just automatic, I imagine. And, however, I've got it. That's it. Once I hit confirm, it's fixed. I can't believe this worked. Wow, I'm impressed. I think you fixed it. You sure are good with your fingers. I feel like I'm hyperventilating. This kind of flow state that an athlete experiences once in their lifetime then dreams forever after. I've tapped into an elevated state of consciousness to impress a girl by fixing her office photocopier. Alright, the first thing we need is a document to test with. I know, let's use your W-2 form. So, you have more than one W-2 for 2022 or just one? For what now? No. You already explained what it is. I guess it depends if you work for more than one employer, I guess. I mean, again, to keep things simple, I just have... Great. Grab it and slide it into the copier feed. Sure. Upload your... What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't have it, though. Wait, hold on. Can I go back? Wait, hold on. Wait. Hold on. Well, what if I just, like, do it? Like, what if I... I don't know. I mean, I don't have a W-2 form. I'm not gonna put my real one. Or, like, you know, any kind of, like, real documents. It's asking for a PDF, by the way? What the heck? What can I do is, like, I don't know. Let me just find, like, W-2 form sample. I'm just gonna download a sample or something. PDF? Is this it? Example? Example? Sure. Maybe not. I don't know. This is too much work. What if I just mix? You must upload a file. Damn it. I can't skip this part. But maybe you should pick the other option, you know? There's no way to, like, scroll back. If I can find, like, a sample. Why can't I find a sample? I'm searching on Google. I see pictures, but there's no, like... Sample... Makes you want to restart and choose the other option. Say that I don't have the form and everything. You know, I wonder if that would do anything. I wonder. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna go back. I don't know. My break things. Whatever. Load. See if that works. I don't know. It's kind of a hassle. Find like a sample PDF. Assuming this works, hopefully when I press save, it actually is saving and it's not just a fake save. No, it just goes here. Damn it! I couldn't like choose the other option. Maybe the other option wouldn't matter anyway. I don't know. Okay, what about this? I'll just... Is this a W-2 form? I don't know. This work? You know, it's like, again, this is just a template. I don't know how this works. Great, we got that W-2 copy. Let's make sure everything's clear. Come here so you can look at these prints. It's okay, silly. You can stand closer than that. Iris is up next to me. She's very close. I can't help notice that she smells nice. That's better. Now, what's your total taxable income in 2022 as reported on this W-2? That should be in the box 1 of your W-2 form. Okay. So I don't know how they're going to use that image for anything, but I just downloaded like a random like W-2 like form. I think I got the wrong one though. I got like a 2023 one. I just found one on Google. I don't know if it's the right one. Whatever. Anyway, what's my taxable income? I mean, obviously I'm not gonna put a real one, but I mean, I'm pretty poor. But I guess I would estimate, let's just say, $20,000. Not a lot, but you've been working hard. Next up, let's make sure you got your withheld income tax. That should be box 2 of your W-2 form. Okay, let's say, again, I'm just making this up, by the way. Let's say, I don't know, how much would it be? What's the, I don't know how, I'm making this up. Let's say, I don't know, 10%? I don't know. All right, that seems clear. In addition, how much Social Security tax was withheld from your income on this W-2? That should be box 4. I mean, I'm estimating, again, no idea. I'm making these numbers up, by the way, but like, I'll just say fine. I don't know. Got it. Let's promise not to withhold anything from each other, okay? Is there a code listed in box 12 of this W-2? You might have more than one. Let's say no. I guess the code would indicate like particular circumstances, maybe. I'm not sure. I think no. Now, do you have more forms, or is that the last one? No, that's it. You know, I'm always looking for ways to make a little more on the side. Did you have any household employee wages for 2022 that wasn't reported on a form W-2? What? A household employee is paid to provide service within their employer's residence. For example, a housekeeper, maid, babysitter, gardener, or other individual who works in or around private residence is a household employee. If a household employee is paid more than $1,900, the employer is required to withhold Social Security and Medicare taxes and issue the employee a Form W-2. If the employee is paid less than $1,900, the employer is not required to issue a Form W-2, but the employee still must be reported on an employee's tax return. That's why I want to ask about it separately. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I never heard about that, actually. I don't know if it's in... I mean, I guess I never did anything like this, I guess, but... I don't know. It's different from Canada, you know? But yeah, I never heard about this. This is a thing in America? I don't know. I just know that, for me anyway, it wasn't like household employee wages, but I did make a few bucks, you know, on YouTube ad revenue, by the way, to be completely transparent. It's not a lot. It's not enough to like, you know, to like really do much with. But I did report that on my taxes, actually. And I reported it separately as like, technically as like business income, you know, self-employment income technically. But I mentioned before, like if you own your own business, then your taxes can be more complicated. But basically, I don't make enough, you know, for it to be really like be considered like an actual like real business a bit, you know, as far as I understand anyway. So I could just put it in my tax return pretty easily and just state it as like, you know, self-employment income, you know. Like, for example, if you're like a freelancer or whatever, right? Or like you make art, you know, you sell it to people, whatever, or you get commissions. You had to hit like a certain threshold in Canada for you to be required, you know, to like make it more complicated, basically. As far as I understand it, anyway. Anyway, but you know, this is not like financial advice. This is just what I know. But let's say no. Well, I know there are a few other sources of income some people have. How about you? As long as we're here, we should make copies of all your forms. Do you have any income from interest in 2022? You know whether or not you receive one or more forms in the 1099 INT. No. Yes. In Canada, I think we have something called a tax-free savings account, actually. It's a type of account where you can accumulate interest in your investments without actually being taxed by it. As far as I understand, anyway. Not that I know much because I don't have a lot of money, so like it doesn't matter. Anyway, did you receive any Social Security benefits? No. We went over this technically, so I would say no. Did you get unemployment compensation? No. All done. That was more copying than I expected. Iris leans on my shoulder. It's getting later in the day, and the light in the office is starting to dim. Thanks for coming with me today. I don't really like being in places like this, but with you I feel a bit better. I wonder what bad memories Iris has of this mundane corporate building is so off-putting. Have you worked in an office before? Did something happen? No, I didn't work in one. Well, I just spent a lot of time in one. Hey, promise me something. Don't use corporate tax software, okay? Huh? I guess I won't this year because Iris says she helped me out, and those kinds of software do always try to nickel and dime you to death. Somehow, Iris is making it sound more serious than that, though. Yeah, there's a, what do you call it, like TurboTax? There's a lot of tax software that, you pay for. I don't know if it's the same in America, but I do know I keep making comparisons to Canada, but in Canada, there is like free tax software you can get. You have to find it on the Canadian website, I think, the government of Canada, and you just search for certified tax software, and they even give you a list of tax software that's offered for free, So that's what I use because I'm stingy. But okay, I promise. Good. It's nice being here. It's nice being here like this with you, with no one else around. And I'm glad I was able to help you with your tax forms a bit. Okay. I owe taxes. Wait a minute. Where should we go? Let's say a game. I wonder if we can go back to the office, actually. Just to check the office. Why not? Seems like there's always like little extra scenes if you go to places you're not supposed to go yet, The library branch office must also serve some kind of public-facing purpose because you can just walk in here. Doesn't look like there's much pressing business going on in the office, though. There's a stack of yellow cards and a filing box here. It looks like they might be interlibrary loan requests. Presumably, this is how the library handles requests for books they don't have on their shelves. Physical paper slips, downright archaic. On the other hand, quaint. I can't help but look at what books have been requested. Synthetic Human Biology, Brainwashing from a Psychological Point of View, A History of the IRS, How to Influence and Influence People. This is kind of an unpleasant list of books. Also, it looks like these have all been requested by the same guy. Oh no, it's Turbo. Okay. Hey, you there. You work here? Who the heck is this? He's got all the hallmarks of a predatory finance guy and his freaking golden watch. What kind of outdated joint uses paper filing requests? Can't you move on this quicker? I'm a busy guy here. Hey, calm down. I don't work here in any case. Of course you don't. It's too much to assume there'll be an available employee. Public institutions are so inefficient. My name's Turbo. Hey, are you from around here? I am, but I'm new to the area. Should I introduce myself? I'm getting a bad vibe from this guy. Sure, why not? Well, you shouldn't be rude. My name's Sighing. Sighing, eh? Tell me something. You look like an law-abiding individual. Have you filed your taxes yet? It's about that time of year. I always pride myself on being able to help out someone new, and it just so happens that I represent a certain organization that could help you there. Why don't you tell me more over a cup of coffee? This guy's definitely a narc. If a moniker like Turbo, I can imagine which organization he represents, but we can't say that, otherwise the game will get sued. I'm good, thanks, but I appreciate the offer. Taxes are complicated, I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. Any sensible person confronts taxes with fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I strongly recommend that you consider my services. I actually feel quite confident in my taxes. It just so happens I got a friend who's helping me out, and I trust her. Wait, a friend? She's helping you with your taxes? That's highly unusual, Do your friends often help you with your taxes? Well, maybe, but You just moved here. You haven't even known her for that long, have you? Whoa, slow down here. I think you got it all wrong. Tell me, what's her name? Tell me, what color is her hair? Tell me. Holy shit, she's insane. Is this usual for TurboTax? Yoo-hoo, excuse me. What do you... Oh, excuse me. Can I help you? We're kind of in the middle of something here. Are these your interlibrary loan slips? He gestures at the yellow slips on the desk. They are. Finally, are you an employee here? No, I just spent a lot of time using the library. I want to let you know that you dropped them in the wrong box. The right one's over there. The wrong... Thank you. He stalks off. There's something deeply weird about that guy. It's as if he wants to charge you, for doing taxes. You look like you need a little help. I hope you didn't mind me cutting in. You really saved me there. Thank you. You know who he works for, right? Be careful. I've heard a lot of bad things about that one. Well, I got things to do. See you. Oh, what a reprieve. So there's a resident creep who requests his books about synthetic human biotechnology, is a TurboTax zealot, and definitely stalking ours. Okay, they're just saying it. Okay, you can just do that. I know in anime, there's always jokes, in anime about how, like, if you say something that is like a thing in real life, usually you would censor that. I don't know what the legality is, but usually, if you mention like someone in real life or an organization, you would usually not. You would either use a fake name, like Whack-Donos. I always remember that in, what was it, Inuyasha? They always refer to Whack-Donos or something. Was it Inuyasha or some other anime? I don't know. Instead of saying McDonald's, they say Whack-Donos. It's always the equivalent, They never actually mention who it actually is. Anyway, I'm not sure what to make of that, but I'm getting out of here before he comes back. Before he starts selling me cryptocurrency. Alright, I guess go to a cafe. I don't know, there's no reason to go back to the library. Should I meet Iris at the cafe? This could be my chance to get to know her better. Here we're back at the cafe. At this time of day, it's pretty calm. Just a few people sitting at the tables and some folks from the surrounding offices. Looks like I'm here first. I guess I'll get something to drink. Hi there, what can I get you? I'll just get some water. I'll just freeload, just get some water. Imagine ordering water at Starbucks. Is that even a thing you can do? Alright, should I get something for Iris? I don't know. I'd rather have her choose, actually. I don't know what she wants. What is she in the mood for? I don't know. I don't know her enough to know what she actually wants. I mean, I know she has that one drink, but I'll let her decide what she wants. I'll get a seat by the window. The light is great in here. Oh, you beat me here. I hope you didn't make you wait. She's on time the minute, in fact. I was just here early. Not at all. I just got here a little faster than I expected to. I'm still learning the town. Of course. Say, I was wondering, where do you live? What's your street address? What are you asking? Well, I want to know your current primary residential address. If the IRS or something want to send you an official document, where would they send it? What's your street address? Okay, fine. I don't know. 123 Anime Town. Anime City. Anime State. That's not real. No. Zip code 1234 or whatever. What's the zip code? I don't know what. I'm not familiar with zip codes. I'm familiar with postal codes in Canada. I don't know how many numbers is in a zip code. I'm not sure. This is not real. I can't do that. I guess. What's a state? What's a state in America? I don't know my states in America. I don't live in America. States in America. Is New York a state? I don't know. I always hear about New York. New York is a famous American state, right? Invalid state code. NY, is it? Okay. There you go. Okay. I'm glad you can meet me here. I hope you don't mind me asking, but are you fully independent or does someone else claim you as a dependent on their tax return? As a what? How would I know? Those are good questions. A dependent is someone who relies on another person for support, such as housing, food, clothing, and other necessities. As far as I know, the best way to figure out if you've been claimed as a dependent of someone else's return would be to ask the person who you think may have claimed you. Okay, so no. I'm kind of flattered that Iris is so interested in the details of my personal life situation. That said, her bluntness of inquiry is unlike anyone I've ever met. Somehow, she makes even nosiness seem charming. And what do you do for a living? What is your job? Nani? I've had my fair share of interesting jobs. I'm eager to learn what you're interested in. You know, Iris has taxed them and asked for your occupation. You can just give the best description you can. Again, I'm not gonna put my real job, but I mean, actually, I'm actually in between jobs, but whatever. Let's just say, I don't know. Let's just say YouTuber. Even though I don't make enough money off of this, by the way, to be a real job. No, it's just for fun. Don't worry about it. Iris leans in, peering at me intently. You got a nice face. I could look at you for hours. How's your vision? Were you legally blind on December 31st, 2022? Nani? Are you sure? Are you not sure what legally blind means? Well, I guess I'm asking if you cannot see better than 20/200 or better eye glasses or contact lens, or if your field of vision is not more than 20 degrees. How's your vision? Were you legally blind? I guess legally blind means like not like, you know, full on blind. You know, this was always depicted in media. You know, where like you can't see anything at all. It's more so, you know, if it affects your everyday life. I mean, I do wear glasses, but that's not legally blind, so no. I heard someone says eyes are windows to the soul, so I've been trying to see if it's true. I like looking at you and feeling like I'm memorizing you. Do you also like that feeling? I think it's okay to get personal. I know. How about we tell each other a secret? Okay, you go first. What's your social security number? And this is why this game got taken down on Steam. I think, you know, or at least that's the rumors. A social security number is a unique identifier issued by Social Security Administration. I understand that's personal, but trust is required in a relationship. Okay. Which, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it since, at least in the YouTube video, I guess. But yeah, apparently this game, got taken down on Steam. It was initially on Steam, but then it got removed. Okay, I don't think Steam ever gave an official explanation, but I think, at least the rumors go, is that it's because this game asks for your social security number and other sensitive information, I guess. So that's why Steam took it down. At least, you know, that's the theory anyway. What's my social security number? You see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great, that's amazing. Real social security number. I mean, I don't even live in America, so I wouldn't have one anyway. Oh, there's something about you that makes me feel you're very trustworthy. I hope you feel the same way. Hang on, Iris. You need to tell me a secret too. A secret. Iris suddenly stares directly at me. No, more like through me. Her demeanor has changed completely. She looks haunted. Don't ever get involved with TurboTax. They're dangerous. As quick as it came, the moment is gone. Iris tips her head and is back to her usual bubbly self. This is like an anti-advertisement for TurboTax, by the way. How does TurboTax feel about this? I don't know. Are they gonna, like, you know, sue this game? Are they gonna sue the developers of this game for, like, you know, what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but, you know, like, defamation, maybe? I don't know if that's the right one, but, you know. Basically, just a game telling everybody not to use TurboTax. It's just funny. Oops, I didn't mean to get so serious. Don't mind me. I'll tell you a simpler secret. How about... I've never been on an airplane before. I like to travel someday, but I don't have a... Well, anyway. Don't have a passport, I guess? Somehow Iris makes it sound like she wouldn't be allowed to board a plane. I don't understand. Is she on the run or something? I know she said she wanted to share secrets, but I feel like we're only scratching the surface here. It's really easy to talk to you. I'm glad we could be honest with each other. Let's go on again. Why don't you come see me at the library sometime? There's something I want to do for you. I promise I'll be there this time. Alright. Also heart, I guess. 3 dates, and she already has heart eyes. Oh, by the way, I got a refund. Great. Where should I go? I mean, obviously we could go to a library maybe, but... Well, I don't know, I'm curious. Do we... Nothing fancy. Like, I was wondering, if you go back to the other places, does it matter? Is there anything else to do in the other places? Oh, what's this? There's a guy blocking the entrance to the queue at the cafe. He looks frustrated. I wonder if something's up. Okay, pedestrian. Ugh, what a terrible experience. What's wrong? You look like you've been through the ringer. What? Oh, nothing. Nothing to worry about. Just, have you filed your taxes yet this year? I'm a bit late, but working on it. Okay, well, trust me on this. If you're gonna use a tax prep service, don't use TurboTax. Well, why? They're just tax filing software, right? What happened to you? Listen to me. Those guys seem nice, but there's something off about them. It's fishy for an industry to build itself up specifically around gaining a public branch of the government. They're deliberately establishing themselves as a bottleneck. If you ask me, that's a crazy amount of leverage, and not just to force us ordinary folks to pay for their services. They say whoever controls the money controls the world, and that means big tax software as the government's primary revenue stream by the balls. That's supervillain stuff right there. Okay, I'm calm. I shouldn't even be talking about this. I don't mean to hold you from getting your coffee. All good. I'm gonna order my drink now, though. Go for it. Thanks for letting me vent a little. Venting? That sounds sus. No, okay. I don't know. This game is like really anti-TurboTax. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's different in America or in the United States of America. But again, in Canada, there is like free tax software you can use. I'm not sponsored, but I recommend Wealth Simple Tax. That's what I use anyway. It's pretty sleek, and it's also free technically. It does guilt trip you though by the end and tells you you should donate, but I just put $0. Look, my excuse is that I don't make a lot of money. Anyway, gosh, I need a good cup of Java. Welcome to Cafe Deductions. What can I get you? Okay. You know what? Give me some tea this time. Get some tea? Get that started for you. From the drink, here you go. Okay, that's it. Nothing new there. Well, there was we talked to the pedestrian anyway. But other than that, the actual cafe itself was nothing new. Go back to office real quick. Let's check in. Dessert as usual. In some ways, I suppose it's comforting. The public enmity basically runs itself. Not much to see, though. Robbery. Let's screw it. Let's do some petty crime. Surreptitiously passing, or how you say that? Surreptitiously passing by the reception desk, you steal a binder clip. One of the big ones, too. Alright, time to get out of Dodge. The thrill of transgression. I can't believe we're a criminal. How would Iris feel about this? We're like a hardened criminal now. Well. Go elaborate. Sounds like she'll be there this time. I'm getting a little bit of deja vu trying to meet Iris at the library again. Still, she says she made sure to be here this time. Glancing over her desk, I see a familiar little notebook. And also Iris sitting there. I think that's the first time she's been at her desk. No, we'll just talk to Iris. I don't know, if we go to diary... I don't know, actually, if we go to diary, I guess maybe there's new entries, maybe? I'll hang back for a second. Maybe she'll need to go reshelf some books. I don't really know what people do in libraries. Oh, there you go, she's getting up. It's my chance to peek at her notebook. I just want to see if there's any new, entries. Here you go. So, what's this? Pretending to be a family. Is that bad? And this is new. Diary. How far into the future do you think most people can imagine? And how far back could they remember? Today I watched the girls on the bus drinking iced coffee even though it's not allowed. I think that's what it means to be human, more than anything. Okay. Diary, today I tried a makeup tutorial. It went quite badly, I must say. No matter how much I try to calculate the perfect ratio of blush to gloss, it always seems wrong. I don't recognize the face looking back at me. I just want to look like the girls in the bus. Normal girls. They're always laughing and having fun. I think finding the perfect foundation will make me happy like that too. Well, she doesn't really need makeup, she's an anime girl. She always looks perfect no matter what. Because she just innately is just drawn attractive. But anyway, I saw a commercial for them today. They lie so much, Diary. File your taxes for free, but it's never free with them. And it would be free for everyone if it wasn't for them. It makes me so angry. Wait, I feel angry, diary. I feel angry. I feel rage. No, I went down by the riverbank today. Diary, I saw a tortoise. I've never seen a tortoise before, but it's just like a turtle. Got flipped over on its back and was stuck, waving its goofy little legs, but I helped it, diary. I flipped it back over and scooted away, only to be eaten by the sewer alligator later on, but don't worry about it. It's so hard learning how to live on my own. Everything here is so different from in the lab. I didn't realize how much TT hid from me and how much they provided. I'll never go back, but I never knew how hard it would be to use a washing machine or to put a bed frame together. TT always did everything. All I had to focus on was learning what they wanted me to do. They would have taught me eventually, right? They wanted me to spread their messages, so they would have introduced me to the world at some point. Diary, today I saw a cat. Okay, hee. People always look at me strangely when I ask them for their address and social security number. Finally today, someone said to me that it's not polite. If I've just met someone, I should only ask what's your name. Diary, it's very hard only knowing about one thing. I'm always having to ask people to help me. Maybe one day I'll be able to help someone else. Do you know that birthdays have meanings? People remember them and also say their birthday says something about their personalities. I wish I had one. No one ever mentioned birthdays in the lab. Maybe we can make one up? Okay, she's starting to be more and more, it's an indication that more and more she seems to be like a experiment. She's some kind of lab experiment. She doesn't have a birth date and she doesn't know what it means to be human. At the park today, I saw a child who was riding the bus for the first time. There's so many foods I've never tried. There's so many firsts I haven't had. What's the earliest memory that I can remember? I know things from earlier than my notebook from before I got out, but when did it start? He's a lab experiment, that escaped. Taxes. Happy face. Okay, well, there you go. I'll just take a walk through the aisles for a minute until she comes back to her desk, and then I go talk to her. Ah, she's coming back. Perfect. All right. So we, invaded her privacy. She kind of invades our privacy in a way. She asking for a social security number or whatever. Talk to Iris. Hi, Iris. Looks like I was able to catch you this time. Oh, hello. Yes, I've been waiting for you. I said I wanted to do something for you as thanks for keeping me company the other day. Well, Iris glances around and leads in. We're secluded behind bookshelves. It's very warm in the library. Why don't we see if you qualify for any tax credits? Well, sure, Iris. I'd love to look at the tax credits with you. Don't worry, I'll guide you through it. Plus, I'll get to learn more about you as we go. I'm looking forward to getting even closer. I think you're pretty smart. I'd love to learn more about your educational background. I think intellectual compatibility is really important in a relationship. I mean, friendship. Were you a student enrolled at a qualified educational institution at 2022? What counts as qualified here? An eligible educational institution is generally any accredited public, nonprofit, or private college, university, vocational school, or other post-secondary institution. Also, the institution must be eligible to participate in student aid program run by the U.S. Department of Education. Okay. Well, no, I wasn't in school, so. Well, based on the fact that your income comes from simple sources, I say you could take the standard deduction. In your case, that's $12,950, I guess. Simple is good, But we should check on a few other things, just in case you're eligible to make some adjustments to your income. Always do your best, that's my motto. I know you said your occupation is YouTuber, right? But to check just in case, are you a qualified educator at a qualified school? No. Well, it's always good to check. Still, I'll be your student sometime. I bet you could probably teach me a thing or two, hehe. Okay. Next question, let's see. Did you make any contributions to the traditional IRA in 2022? Remember, don't include Roth IRA contributions here. They work differently. What is I don't know what that is. IRA. With a traditional IRA, the contributions you make are tax deferred. You pay tax when the money comes back out of the account, not when you put it in. In contrast, Roth IRAs are funded with after-tax money, and the distributions in the future are tax-free. Okay. I'm assuming it's the equivalent of in Canada anyway. Maybe it's like RRSP, basically like a retirement plan or whatever, right? That's what it is. A retirement plan. Actually, no. I mean, in real life, I don't think so. Again, I don't make enough money to save. So anyway, I don't make enough money to invest in anything. I'm poor. Okay. Okay, no problem. I hope you don't think I'm asking too many questions. It's always better to check than to miss anything, right? Let's keep checking a few more deductions. Did you make any interest payments on a qualified student loan? What is a qualified student loan? A qualified student loan is a loan you took out solely to pay for qualified education expenses within a reasonable amount of time for education provided during an academic period for an eligible student. If you pay at least $600 in 2022, the lender should have issued you a form. If you pay less than $600, they may not have issued a form, but you still need to report them. If you're unsure, you can always call a lender and request this information. Student loans. I heard student loans are pretty bad, in the United States of America. Wasn't there again, I'm not from America, so I don't really follow the politics, but wasn't there a student loan forgiveness kind of thing going on? I don't know if it's been implemented or not, or people have just been talking about it, but isn't there a thing where people are being forgiven for their loans or whatever? I don't know. I know for me, I went to school, I guess years ago by now, and I also did have to take a loan and everything. But I did pay for it. I actually paid off my loan, actually, a few years ago, actually. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but maybe I'm spoiled. But I feel like in Canada, we, at least for us, we don't have to pay interest for our loans. For me anyway, relatively, it wasn't too bad actually, because we don't have to pay interest on it. So I just paid it off as fast as I could, and this is where I am today. With no money, but don't worry about it. And also a useless degree, but also don't worry about it. Not to complain too much. But I've heard in America though, loans are pretty bad. People are still paying off their loans, years after. And I don't know. For me, I don't understand, I'm ignorant, to why that is. That sounds like horrible. Why are you still paying for your loan? I don't get it. Do you have to pay interest in America? Maybe you do. If you do, that's just very predatory, right? Anyway, not to go on a big tangent. But yeah, did it been technically no, because I already paid off my loans. Student loans can be such a heavy burden. I got my education in the lab. I didn't go to college, so I don't know what it's like, but it's a lucky thing to be debt free. I think that just about covers I can't speak. I think that just about covers adjustments to your income. You're very organized with all your information, even if you don't think so. Speaking of which, did you make any estimated tax payments during 2022? What does that mean? Estimated tax is a quarterly payment of taxes for the year based on the filer's reported income for the period. Generally, the folks required to pay quarterly taxes are small business owners, freelancers, and independent contractors. Yeah, okay, yeah. That's if you, again, you have more complicated taxes. I did not. I see. What about any amount from your 2021 tax refund that you chose to apply to this year's filing? You're so thoughtful. I wonder if you did anything like that last year. How would I know if I did that? You would need to look at your 2021 tax return. If you had a tax return refund last year, but you chose not to receive all the money, then the balance is waiting to be applied for your return this year. Oh yeah, I do remember that. Again, obviously it might be different in Canada, but there's a choice actually. Yeah, I remember there was you can choose to get all your money right away, or you can choose to get your tax refund, in how do you say, a delayed, I guess you could get money delayed. I don't know if there's any reason, to be honest. I don't get the intricacies of why you wouldn't just get all your money right away. It's maybe it's better to wait. I'm not sure, but I always just choose to get it right away, or I just choose the default option. Really, I don't choose to defer it, to later, I guess. So I don't think I did that. I not apply any payment for it. Say, I really I really didn't just want to talk to you about tax credits. Sometimes when I get nervous, I just default to things that are familiar. Iris takes a deep breath. I get the feeling that she hadn't quite planned out to what to say next. Why don't we meet in my room next time? Okay. Heart. You're so drooling. Anyway, she's very excited to do taxes, Today's another lovely day. What now? It sounds like Iris want to take things to the next level in our relationship. Am I ready for that? Am I ready to get banned on YouTube? Well, hold on. Is there anything else I could do? Let's go cafe, maybe? Is there anything new in the cafe? Okay, nothing new at the cafe. If it's the office again. Nothing here. We don't need to steal another binder clip, I guess. Go to library again. Anything new in our Anything new in our diary? Oh, this is new actually. Iris's normally neat desk is oddly in disarray. Papers are strewn about, books are laid open instead of stacked. The drawers behind the desk have been pulled open as well. Maybe it's nothing, but I can't help thinking that someone just rifled through Iris's stuff behind her back. Fitting in better than we expected, but I think I found her. Patch me through. Someone's coming. If I duck behind the library shelves here, I can listen in. This is Turbo. I finally found a lead on her. She blended into society smoothly enough that it wasn't obvious. You know, despite her pink hair. I knew the new synths were good, but I didn't realize how good. Synths? Okay. Is he talking on a headset? Must be. If it weren't for the fact that we were in a library, I would never be able to hear him. Yeah, that's right. She's helping with filing. We are all the products of our conditioning, aren't we? Though I'm sure I've never got any human by mistake. Of course it's a risk. Don't insult me. This is what I was made for. Tell HQ I admire their work. If they gotten this one to Washington, she would have performed admirably. Roger that. I'll continue to observe. Given her recent activities, maybe she'll... excuse me. Oh, the barista's here. Are these the staff desks? I've got a delivery order for... Who's there? Oh. Yeah, they are. Tell me, what's that drink? The girl from Cafe Deductions... Or Deductions? I think it's supposed to be... I think the extra D is not supposed to be there. Anyway. Because it was a pun, you know? Originally. I think? I don't know. Anyway. But the girl from the cafe is holding a massive takeout cup full of what appears to be gray sludge. Clearly, this delivery order is Iris's signature Venti Chagamotujujuichi. It looks even worse as delivery when it's had a chance to sit and settle. Oh, there's just one girl who orders this crazy sludge drink. It's got everything in it. To be honest, I don't know how a human can stomach this, but she seems to like it. Also, does Starbucks, do delivery? I don't think they do that, do they? Yes, this is her desk, my dear. You can leave it for her. A memory of her childhood. Okay then, have a nice day, bye. She sits down to drink and hurries off. Turbo is clearly creeping her out. Oh, he's creeping me out. Does Iris know this guy? He's downright concerning. Looks like he's leaving. I better sneak out as well. Don't want to risk bumping into him by accident. Okay, well that's ominous. Again, everything seems to point out that she's a synth, by the way. She's a replicant, like in Blade Runner or something. Anyway. Do androids dream of electric sheep? I like to look at her notebook again, by the way. Anything new in her diary? Oh, there's something new. Birthdays. Okay, this is new, by the way. I wish there was a simple math calculation to determine how much you should tell a person. Do you think my friend would understand diary? How I was made diary? Not the normal way. But now when I read about love and families, I understand what the books talk about. Can I be like that? I stopped by a new store today when I was walking down to Mulberry Press. Diary, it was incredible. They call it a hardware store. I saw an axe and a hose and a little camping stove. And so many other things that it took me months to find when I was in TT. If I have to get out again, it'll be so much easier. Okay. I guess they don't give her a lot of objects. It seems to imply this is what she used to get out. Like an axe and fire. I don't know. I went to the bank today, diary. I think I understand what my target was now. All the buildings they show me look like that. Or maybe there's a city somewhere where all the buildings look like banks. If I go there, how many people will be like me? Will anyone know? Okay, and originally she was supposed to be sent to like some kind of, building, to act as like a employee maybe? Can I go there again? There was another option, by the way. I'm just stalling, but what if I examine her desk? Oh, hey, this is Kazue Ishiguro's latest, Clara and the Sun. I heard this is really good. Hell of a writer, nothing but bangers. Okay, is that just a reference to something? I don't know. Anyway, I guess that's it. I think that's just a reference. Maybe. Alright. Here's some water. Alrighty. Let's go to Iris's house. Totally just have, we're just gonna go have some fun, just hang out, play some video games, that's all. Iris sounded pretty serious the other day. I should be ready for some real commitment before I go here. Iris's house is on a quiet street a bit off the main part of town. I can feel that it's a well-loved space, from the comfortable chairs to the little vase of flowers near her bed. Iris looks lovely in the warm sunset light streaming through the window. With her usual, business casual uniform, I guess. Or is it business casual or just business? I don't know. Anyway. Hi, Sighing. She glances away bashfully before looking back at me. I'm so happy you came. I've been looking forward to this moment for so long. I wasn't sure if... No, never mind. There's something I need to tell you. It's kind of embarrassing to say out loud, but I've put together your whole tax return. I don't know if you realize it, but I wanted to do something for you, and taxes are one of the only things I feel confident about, so... Oh, you don't think it's weird, but maybe we could go over your federal filing together and reveal before you send it to the IRS? Okay. You what? I never realized. Yeah, I was very subtle about it. I didn't expect you to notice, but it just so happens that taxes are a bit of a specialty of mine. Ever since we first met, I haven't been able to get you out of my mind. Why don't we start at the beginning? We can double check all the information in your return to make sure it's correct. Do you remember the day we met? You looked so clueless. It was very cute. Is his contact information correct? Okay, yep. Yep. I think I know you pretty well now. I bet you thought I was being extra nosy at first. Okay. Let me change this. Do you call it YouTuber or just YouTuber? Technically, it's YouTube, like the company. But it's YouTuber? I don't know. Anyway. Confirm. I still can't believe you got the photocopier to work the way it did. Is this W2 info all correct? Sure. Great. Once you're ready, you can move on to the next page. So this is your total W2 income in 2022. Yep. You didn't have any income interest, right? You receive a form? Didn't receive that? Nope. No contribution? Not a student? Nope. Not an educator? I didn't pay my student loan because I didn't do it last year anyway because I already paid off my loans, as I mentioned before. I know so much about you now. I'm so glad that we've been able to open up to each other. From the moment we met, I started to keep notes about your finances. I just knew we were meant to be together filing out this return. And guess what? It looks like you overpaid your federal income taxes in 2022. Based on my calculations, you'll get a tax refund of $1,292. Wow, amazing. How much of that would you like to get refunded for you? All of it. Give me all of the money. Okay, let's set up direct deposit for your return. It's the fastest, easiest way to get that money. Do you want your checking account or savings account? Is it going to ask you for my banking information? What's my account number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know. Maybe we'll share a bank account one day. What about the routing number? My routing number is, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, yeah, that's it. I've noted that all down in my little book. I'll always cherish these pages that I've had with you, even though, all of this is just fake information, but don't worry about it. She doesn't know that. She doesn't need to know. Let's look over these final few pages. Are you ready to go all the way? Hope you're feeling good about finishing everything. I'm so happy that you're here with me right now. Double check your bank info just to be safe. Okay, that just about wraps it up. There's only one thing left to do, and your 2022 federal tax return will be complete. After you print your return, make sure to sign the physical copy. They'll be complete and ready to send. Preparing to sign my return, this all somehow feels like a big step. I can feel it in my chest. It's only been a few days, but I had so much fun getting to know this girl. I can tell there's so much more we'll have to say to each other as our relationship deepens. Are you nervous, Sighing? It's okay. This is my first time. Alright. Completing a tax return with someone, too. Don't worry. We'll do it together at whatever pace you're comfortable with. Ready? This may take a second. It's a lot of pages, after all. Oh, okay. It opened my file explorer, and I can save it as a PDF. Sure. Alright. Great. Oh. There you go. Ah. Okay. Oh, that was supposed to be the thing. Okay. I kind of skipped that, I guess. But yeah, you're supposed to, like, press that together. She's holding your hand. Good. You need to print this on your own and then put it in the mail. I'll also hold on to a copy for you in case you need it, Sighing. But you should make sure to keep a copy on hand for future reference. I would include a note for you that lists the correct IRS mailing address. Don't forget to sign your return and mail it up promptly. Iris's hand is warm against mine. My tax return is complete and ready to go, but she makes no move to stop holding hands. Iris pauses. She seems to be choosing her next words carefully. I guess now your taxes are done, but I still want to see you again. Somehow I'm happier than I've been in a long time. I'm in love with you. Iris, I feel the same way. To be honest, I've completely fallen for you. Maybe from the moment I first bumped into you outside the stationery store, just like a typical shoujo manga. Really? I'm so glad. I know I have a tendency to focus on taxes, exclusion, and everything else, so I trust you. Can I tell you something about me? Of course, Iris, anything. I don't know what you've already learned about me or guessed. The truth is, I was created by TurboTax, a synthetic tax policy sleeper agent. Okay? I mean, you could have guessed that, I guess. And others like me are made to infiltrate society, to yoke the masses to TurboTax's platform, to gain backdoor access to key legislators. I guess I'll fixate on taxes because for a long time, taxes were all I knew in this world. But that's only half the reason. I also want an excuse to spend time with you. And I'm so happy that my cursed knowledge could finally be helpful to someone I cared about. I escaped. Before I was complete. I'm never going back. And I want you to be in my life in the future. Maybe we could even file a job return one day. But you'll be in danger. TurboTax is a sprawling shadow entity that controls the United States government via its purse strings. Am I worth that to you? Iris looks at me with a pained expression on her face. Who pursues her? Who else knows about this? Synthetic. But in the end... Iris, I won't pretend that I totally understand your history. But what I do understand is that it doesn't matter. Not here, not right now. If loving you means rejecting a tax software monopoly and being hunted by his agents, then I welcome it. Great. Spring. Just like that, my federal return was complete. I only need to mail it off. Of course, spring is never without its storms, and discovering that Iris is a rogue synthetic TurboTax sleeper agent, whatever that means, has certainly put some things from the past few days in a different light. Are there more like her? How close are the people hunting her? In some ways, it feels like my questions have just begun. My journey has just begun. But on a fine evening like this, sitting hand in hand with Iris in her room, I'm just happy to be with her. Love and taxes forever? My heart. Great. Good. You know, I'm just imagining that she has like a transformation, you know, where like freaking like, I don't know, cannons, like actual literal cannons just pop out of her like chest and she just freaking shoots down the agents and murders them or something. I don't know. Anyway, good. Amazing. There you go. That's Tax Heaven 3000. Kind of just like a funny, quirky little visual novel that like has, you know, some kind of weird subplot with like really anti TurboTax. They really hate TurboTax, I guess. Can I show this? I don't know, but hold on. Let me like I don't know if I can show this. Hopefully I don't dox myself. But I just noticed that well, I guess it doesn't matter now. I just noticed that fully put the window capture game because I did it last minute. I put it over the stream element, where you would see chat messages. So I covered that up. Well, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but I usually like having chat, pop up because so people don't think I'm crazy. When I respond to chat comments sometimes, like live chat, but whatever. Anyway, what doesn't matter. Let's see. I just want to show real quick. This is the PDF that she, that you download from the game. My love, hee hee. To file his return, you must sign a date designated area on page 2 of physically printed form. Department of Treasury, Internal Revenue Service, Kansas City, apparently. I guess depending on where you live. Maybe? I don't know. Remember, this is your federal return. You may also need to file one or more state tax returns depending on where you live in 2022. Love and tax forever. My heart. Great. Amazing. Good. A tax form glossary. Let's go. I guess the rest of it. I mean, this is fake. This is not real. This is like a... That's not even a real tax return, but I guess that's the actual real form. Good. What a cute tax return. All right, there you go. I mean, what a journey, I guess. So that's Tax Heaven 3000. I mean, what is there to say? It's just like a silly little game with kind of like a really weird premise. It's just a dating sim where you do your taxes, I guess. It had like almost interesting plot, actually. Like a backstory plot where she's a freaking android, I guess, and something like that. I don't know, but they kind of play it straight for the most part. It doesn't go. There's no like big plot twists, that really strays too far from the fact that it's mostly just do your taxes. So there you go. I mean, for the most part, again, in my opinion, it's pretty simple. I mean, if you use any kind of tax software, it's actually kind of similar. The program just asks you about your personal information, and then your forms, what forms you have, and just plug in the numbers for the most part. It's like it's pretty easy. People say that taxes are hard, but again, maybe I'm spoiled because I do use tax software. I use free tax software, to be honest. It's mostly pretty simple. Again, I don't know if it's different in America. They mentioned how they have a TurboTax monopoly. So maybe it is the case where like it's hard to find free tax software in the US, but at least in Canada anyway, there is like tax software you can find that is completely free, actually. Now, I don't know if you don't pay with your wallet, but you might pay with your data, though. Just like a lot of things are free on the internet. They might take your information and sell it to advertisers, but, don't worry about it. Anyway, but there you go. Again, just, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. It's just kind of silly, it's just silly, but also educational, I guess. If you don't know how to do taxes, like, you're completely, like, clueless, I guess. It's interesting to learn. And it also might be because, for me, usually I don't pay, like, taxes that are it's not very complicated for me anyway. Usually for most people that I imagine, you just kind of work for an employer and that's kind of it. You just kind of like, you get the form for your employer and you just put it in, right? For the most part, not too complicated. I don't know, but there you go. I mean, I guess to talk about the game itself, I guess, I mean, the art looks good. I mean, obviously, it's kind of high effort. It's kind of a high effort shitpost, it's like a high effort meme shitpost thing. But I mean, it's pretty good. Like technically speaking, the UI looks good. The writing is good. I mean, pretty simple for the most part and kind of short, but it kind of weaves in the joke, about how like doing your taxes with the actual dating sim. So it actually works out, Again, no deeper plot twist or anything, but I guess it was kind of interesting learning about the fact that she was like a freaking robot, basically, or a synthetic android human thing. Kind of cool, almost it could have, I could have went like more like dramatic, I could have went like even more dramatic. I feel like where it would be something more darker, maybe. I don't know, like maybe different endings. That would be interesting. But I think I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Should it do like an actual real story, or should it stick to the whole like joke? I don't know. It's pretty short, I guess, so it doesn't really outstay. It's how do you say it? Outstay, or I don't know what the word is. It doesn't outstay its welcome. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's not too bad. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. It's just like it teaches you how to do taxes. I guess with like you anime girl. Great. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but her name, Iris, that's a pun on IRS, I guess. In Canada, it's the CRA, but in America is IRS, I guess, Anyway, but there you go. I guess, yeah, that's it for Tax Heaven 3000. What a silly game. That hopefully doesn't I don't know, steal your information. I don't know. Again, Steam took it down, but I don't know how much of it is justified. I don't know. I mean, as far as I understand from the company, apparently Mischief or MSCHF, they're like an art collective, I think, that just does a bunch of random things. So they're not normally a game developer, really. I think it's just a group of artists, I think, or I don't know, people, I guess, that just do a bunch of random stuff. I don't know. I think they've made as far as according to Wikipedia anyway, apparently they've made AI generated foot pictures. I don't know. They just make weird stuff, as far as I understand. But anyway, but yeah, that's it for Tax 73000. I guess if you're watching the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, I guess, if you want to see more content. And you can also catch me live, because I stream this. So you can change that notification, I can't speak, that notification setting from personalized to all if you want to get notified when I go live. But there you go. Thanks for watching. Until next time, see you then. Alright, that's where I'll fade out. There you go. That's it for taxes. That's the joke, by the way. It's just taxes. Alright. Let's see. Well, I guess I'll move on to the next game now. I guess I don't know how I'm gonna. Okay, so how do I edit this? So if I edit the stream, I guess I'll change the thumbnail as well. Hold on, let me I don't know. Screenshot maybe. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. And when the stream is done as well, maybe I'll change it back. Maybe, I'm not sure. But for now, I'm gonna play a different game. So I'm gonna switch games now. Play this game. And I'm going to play maybe this one next. This is like an indie game that I was planning on playing yesterday. Called Reaper's Goodbye. Main menu, I guess. Crickets, which could be copyright claimed on YouTube. I don't know. The sound of crickets can be copyright claimed. I guess I'll change the thing. Change the title maybe, because it's not tax heaven anymore, right? I don't want people to. I don't know. I don't want people to come in and they'll be like, "Oh, this is not the actual game." Is the thing. So let me just change that. I guess. Is it on the game title? Probably not. Check anyway. Okay, so next game is Reaper's Goodbye. Reaper's Goodbye. The game later? I'm not sure I'm gonna do another game, but depends. Reaper's Goodbye would be. I don't know. I don't know how to describe this, but I guess I'll just copy the description. So, serving lost souls, waiting for the midnight train, whatever that means. Sounds mysterious. And I guess I should put his information here. Reaper's Goodbye. Here, Reaper's Goodbye. Hail chips? Hail chips. The link there. What matters, man. Just put it in the description. Just so it does. The resolution is not good though for the thumbnail. I don't want to spend time fixing this. I'm just gonna save it. Whatever. It's fine. Alright. So I should have updated the title. Again, it's kind of weird on YouTube because if you change the information, it changes for an entire stream. So maybe I'll change it back later when it's done. But for now, the game that I'm playing at the moment is Reaper's Goodbye. It seems to be like some kind of visual novel. It just seems like a visual novel. Okay, it's an interesting art style to it. I don't know what it is exactly. I don't know. Apparently, it says here, deep within the countryside, under a wide open sky, it says those holding considerable misfortune will inevitably cross paths. Stories of promise, regret, revenge, and longing are treated like precious treasures before disappearing into the night, and a special field watched from the shadows. At a food stall serving lost souls, 5 troubled patrons tell their tales of woe while waiting for the midnight train. 6 strangers, 5 stories, and 1 final farewell. I don't know. Sounds pretentious, but I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try anyway. See if it's any good. I don't know. Guess we'll see. Anyway, for now though, actually, it's been about 2 hours, almost 2 hours. So I'm gonna take a break now. Actually, kind of need to go to the washroom. I'm gonna eat something as well, and I actually need breakfast. So it might take a little bit longer of a break, but I'll be back as soon as I can, and I'll continue playing more video games. I'll play Reaper's Goodbye, and then if I have time, maybe I'll play another game. I guess we'll see. But be right back after a few minutes or so. Alrighty. Almost ready to start. I would like to fix that thumbnail though. It's like it's the wrong resolution. I feel like. I think the wrong resolution. Hello, Simplicity. How's it going? Well, I just finished one of the games I was playing today, actually. Tax Heaven 3000. That was like a silly little game. But after that one, I'll play the next one. It's called Reaper's Goodbye, which looks kind of interesting. I want to fix the thumbnail, actually. I don't know. I'm also... Oh, I can't open that for some reason. Weird. Open with... .NET. I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I was gonna say that I'm not used to streaming on YouTube very often. So I don't know how to handle like multiple games per stream, you know? So I don't know how that works. But I guess I'll change like that maybe. Keep that. But it seems like you can change the thumbnail, you know, whatever. I don't know how that affects like, I don't know, like what people see, right? When they click on it. I don't want to show like the wrong thumbnail, because the thumbnail I had before was the Tax 73000, which by the way, it was pretty funny. It was like a visual novel dating sim, basically, except it teaches you how to do your taxes. It's funny. Am I playing indie games? Yeah, for the most part. I mean, if you check out my channel, I mostly just play indie games, usually from itch.io. Not always though, I guess, but for the most part, I do. I prefer playing like shorter games, you know. I mean, it does better for, you know, analytics, objectively speaking. But also it's just interesting playing like just smaller, you know, obscure indie games and everything. You know, it's more interesting. And you know, I mean, just in general, I feel like people aren't interested in like 100 episodes of like a AAA game, for example, like Elden Ring. You know, it's like where I literally did 100 episodes. You know, people are not interested in that kind of thing. It's better to do like shorter videos and everything. So that's what I usually do. You find games, or you find indie games to give exposure through speed running. Well, usually, I guess for indie games, I guess there's different kinds of indie games. For me, I actually prefer narrative-driven games. You know, I prefer visual novel. I mean, if you look at the style of games I play in my channel, I usually prefer that. Narrative-driven games, horror style as well. It doesn't have to be horror, but I usually prefer stories that have, I don't know, like drama to it, you know, interesting stories, basically, for the most part. Yeah, that's what I usually do. For speed running, you know, I guess I don't really do that though. I don't play like those kind of games, I guess. I mean, those games I feel like, I mean, I guess it's always relative, but you know, the games that people speedrun though tend to have a lot of exposure anyway. That's what I feel like, you know. I don't know, I'm just thinking of like games like what do you call it? Super Meat Boy, like Binding of Isaac, you know, those kind of games that I actually don't play, but those are technically indie games, I guess. Yeah. A crosscode, right? You know, it's funny. I actually did not. I know this is a blasphemy, but I did not actually like crosscode that much. It was okay, but like it dragged on for too long, and I did not like the puzzles in crosscode. Funnily enough, I know it like people love it. This like on Steam is like 1 million people has a really high positive reviews, and anytime I search crosscode or whatever, people just say they like, oh, it's the best indie game ever. And it's like, I've played at least up to a point. I did like a playthrough on it. Up to the ending. I think there was supposed to be like some kind of extra epilogue. I think I never got back to. I don't know if they ever released that yet, but I got to that point, you know, where there was the ending of the game, and it was like, it was all right. But like, I hate the puzzles. Yeah, the puzzles and the combat. The combat The combat was okay. It's just the combat sometimes was annoying because of not to go on a big. I'm going on a big tangent by the way, but like the because I'm on crosscode now. I'm gonna rant about crosscode now, but like the combat was kind of frustrating because there was height. You know, if that makes sense. There's like layers. You know, like your character can go up or down, if that makes sense, like in a 3D space. But the problem was that crosscode was not 3D. You know, it was all 2D. So like it was kind of hard to tell which height your character was. So like for example, for flying enemies, like it was really hard to hit them because you had to be at a particular height. And so it was just annoying. You know, it's annoying to be at a particular height to like hit certain enemies. And sometimes there's like time limits as well. So you got to do it in a specific amount of time. And it's like, it's just, I hate that. Yeah, the layers. Yeah, that's what they call it, like layers, you know? That's what I didn't like. And the story's okay too. I like some of the characters in Crosscode, but I do feel like, for me anyway, I felt like a little bit, I don't know, I felt too familiar, I guess, with another like story that I know, which is Dot Hack Sign. Like a whole series of games as well, like Dot Hack, which really where you're stuck in an MMO. You know, I feel like, to me anyway, maybe it's new to a lot of other people. For me, I feel like it's a little cliche. But no, that's just me though. No. For me, the story was okay, but like I felt like it was nothing new. You know, that's how I feel about it anyway. Because I already you know read stories about how you're being stuck in MMO. You know, I mean, Sword Art Online is the most famous one. I feel like, and the most it's the one that people critique a lot. But I never watched Sword Art Online. I just know it's bad apparently, or at least it's not very unique. Anyway, all right. Okay. I think it's enough ranting about Crosscode. I want to start this game. So if you didn't know, by the way, even though I'm doing this live, I'm also putting this on the YouTube video. So I'm gonna do like a little introduction. So gotta think about how I'm gonna introduce it though. I mean, I don't know what this game is about really. It looks to be like a sad game actually. You're supposed to feel sad, whatever that means. How do you feel sad? I don't understand. I don't have a soul. But the art style looks interesting. So I don't know. Apparently, it takes about an hour, but I imagine. Well, actually, I don't know. I was planning on playing another game, but I guess let me change the title. And other game, rather, and another game later? Question mark. I'm not sure if I'll play another game. I don't have enough time to play another game, but an hour. But I guess if I read everything, it might take double the amount. So this might be the only other game that I'll do, most likely. Yeah. Oh, I guess we'll see. Am I gonna have highlights to the stream? Well, usually the way it works. I mean, it's because I do a lot of narrative-driven games for the most part. It's not really highlights. It's just split up for the most part. But it depends. Depends if the game has a lot of dead air. If it's a visual novel, I usually keep most everything really. But if it's like I don't know, like RPG Maker game or like a game with a bunch of puzzles, then I probably do a lot of cutting. Yesterday I did something called Emerald Wasp. That was a game definitely I went back and forth a whole bunch. I even did like another playthrough when I speed ran through the game, just so it can do another branch, a different path. So that requires a lot of editing. But for the most part, I keep everything in. I mean, you'll see. My YouTube channel. They tend to be like pretty long, but that's how I usually do it. I used to stream on Twitch, and I put everything on YouTube, but I decided to consolidate everything on YouTube instead. So, I mean, I don't know how people feel about it, but like, I am basically recycling material, but I mean, most people wouldn't want to watch like a whole VOD in the first place. They're on YouTube anyway. They wouldn't want to watch like 5 hours, of like, of like a game in one sitting, I imagine for most people. So it's better to like chop it up, and put it in video format for the channel. And it's also easier to search for, especially for new viewers. I imagine new viewers, don't really like on YouTube in particular. New viewers, I imagine, don't find your stream very quickly or very easily, rather. Same thing on Twitch, though. I feel like unless you have a big following on Twitch, it's the same thing. That's a part of the reason why I decided to stream on YouTube. It's like the same thing anyway, but like, at least on YouTube, at least some people get notified that I stream. Rather on Twitch, nobody gets notified. So nobody can find me on Twitch anyway. So that's why I decided to stream on YouTube as well. Anyway, I'm still going on 10. I want to start this. So let's see. So I'm just gonna look over. So I'm gonna think about how I'm gonna introduce this for YouTube. So like, oh, welcome to Readers Goodbye. What is this game? It's a visual novel, right? It's a visual novel. Yeah, this is a full-on visual novel. So like, hello, welcome to Readers Goodbye. Or visual novel developed by Kinoshis Rebel Nichio. It's about listening to the stories of strangers before a fourth midnight. Remember that. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna. And is there a content warning? There's a bit of a content warning. There's a horror tag in this game. I don't know if it's supposed to be super scary necessarily. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this game is like a horror game necessarily, like in a traditional sense. But it might have some dark themes. I might have to mention that too. Anyway. Ogo 3D. I don't know if I'll do that. Again, I mostly do like narrative-driven games, especially with an anime art style. Pogo 3D doesn't sound like something I would do, but I don't know. Well, I guess I'm open to suggestions, but it really depends what I would be interested in anyway. All right. Okay. Let me see. So I'm gonna introduce it. And this is what happens when I do this live. So like I obsess with the intro. So like hello and welcome. All right, try take two. Because I had the mouse on the screen. Not that whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, take two. Hello and welcome to Reaper's Goodbye, a visual novel developed by Kale Chips, available on itch.io. And apparently, this is about listening to stories of strangers before they board the midnight train. Whatever that means. I guess we'll see. And a bit of a content warning as well. This game is tagged as horror. I don't know if it's necessarily a scary game, but it may have some disturbing elements, so viewer discretion is advised. All right. So, the night sky of the countryside is wide, empty, and often soundless. Crickets may sing, but their song gets lost in the open air, soaking into nothingness. There's no hustle and bustle of crowds. There are no blaring car horns. Just the wind through the grass that labors your own breath and you, as you tread the unpaved road. It is said in such a countryside, you may come across a man with a trail of cigarette smoke behind him. His shifty eyes dart across the scene, but pay him no mind. His goals lie elsewhere. A cursed individual can only take company with those of a similar fortune, you see. To exist between worlds means living tied to nothing. No home, no family, no sense of time. A man like that looks perfectly natural, wandering in the emptiness of a soundless sky. If you come across such a man, pay him no mind. He will walk on, leaving only smoke behind. Rhymes. It's a poem. Also, the game I feel like is a little low. I guess I'll, when I edit this for YouTube, or I mean I am on YouTube, but when I edit this for the video, I'll probably increase the audio for post-processing. But if you meet such a man as eyes fix upon you, well, can you do? What can you do, rather? I don't know. Or what can he do? Okay, so a bit of a typo. I feel like a few typos already, but well, what can you do? What can he do? That's just how the world works. A cursed individual can only take company with those of a similar fortune. It's just the wheels of fate turning. You two just got caught in the spokes. Reaper's Goodbye. All right. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It has a black and white kind of thing going on. Okay, these are the options, I guess. I just click. The town smells like roasting meat and alcohol. Okay. Je ne crois... I don't know French. Je ne crois pas meilleur. What a surprise. To think the gods will lead us to this village just to meet again. The world works in mysterious ways. They say? an old fool or young heart, and wise beyond his years. Oh, mon ami, you give me a more cheerful face. Go ahead, smile for me. You never change, do you? Such a depressing company you can be. Perhaps your poor mother fed you nothing but bitters as a child. Ugh, so depressing, so depressing. I must drink away my sadness, quell, or I don't know how to do a French accent. The man turns around with a dramatic flourish. He begins walking to the nearest stall. He's been like that for the longest time. The man leads the way, babbling the whole time. This and that is always pointless, but he's keen on talking. Finally, he shuts up at a humble food stall when a group of patrons tarry idly. There's a bespectacled, professional-looking man, a mature woman minding her own business, a jovial old man with a well-made suit, and a nervous-looking little girl hiding behind her scarf. Here's the chap I was speaking of. We can get this night started now. Oh, mon ami, don't be so sour. These poor souls missed their last train. They must spend the night without entertainment. It won't do. Let us trade stories until fate calls upon us. I personally find this so immature. Don't be such a I don't know how to do too many voices. I can't do a lot of voices. Don't be such a stick in the mud. I can't think of a better way to spend the night. Well, I can think of one better way. Oh, I bet you can. See what magnific company we have. And so the wheels of fate were turning. That just reminds me of BlazBlue, whatever. The wheels of fate are turning. Round one, or like, well, not round. They don't say round one. They say, I can't remember, but wow. Anyway, or rather, they had already reached their destination. It was more or less unknown to the 6 strangers at the stall who awaited the train they would take them far, far away from here, or who awaited the train, or that would take them far, far away from here. The story of the lost souls and their startling tales begins now. All right, Reaper to goodbye. Simplicity. You mentioned small saga. I don't know. I guess I'll look into it. Anyway, all right. So we get to choose, I guess. Gonna talk to the French guy, mature woman, funny old guy, I'm assuming, little girl, and a pompous, like the other pompous, old guy, but his pompous. Anyway, and also we're eating something. Chopsticks? I feel like, because I saw the stall had like a Japanese kanji on it. Is this Japanese theme? I don't know. The introduction also kind of reminded me of an anime. Actually, it's probably not the same thing, but like a dude just walking around while smoking. It kind of reminds me of, what was that one? Mushishi, I think. It was an anime called Mushishi, which I kind of liked. It was about this like supernatural kind of like doctor kind of guy who goes around fixing people's problems. Except the problems are often caused by spirits. But anyway, I don't know. You know what? Let's talk to... Oh, I don't know. Let's talk to the pompous guy first. Why not? Ghost stories? Oh, well, no, I haven't really. You don't get to talk about the cultish stuff in my line of work, since it's very scientific. I'm very factual, you see, but perhaps. The man nervously looks from side to side. Yes, well, just for tonight, since you insist. There's this one time, back in my school days. Alright? I know visions. So apparently, yeah, according to the game page, this is about listening to, I guess, stories? Every character has a story to tell. It was in my college years when I found myself stuck in the rain between trains. I studied late and neglected to keep track of time. Indeed, the trains went on without me. I ended up beneath a street lamp with my umbrella doing little for the intensity of the weather. Looking out, I could hardly see anything except for the shine of wet gravel in the fog. Hoi, are you lost? A voice rang out into the night. I couldn't tell if they were beside me or not. They sound like a man about my age. I still couldn't see them. Also, Hoy? Hoy, I'm Timmy. No, follow the tracks. If you go through the tunnel, you won't have to bother with the rain. But the train. These tracks have been abandoned for years. Come on, let's go. Indeed, there were tracks in front of me. I followed them and came to the mouth of a tunnel, where a figure stood. Strangely, I couldn't catch his face. The mix of fog, rain, and darkness made it hard to see. I could tell he was, too, a student, and my nerves began to settle. I let down my umbrella and we entered the tunnel together. He began to ask questions about me. The tunnel was even darker than the outside, but thanks to our conversation, I felt completely at home. I explained the courses I was taking and the dorm I was at, the exams I was studying for, and my expectations for the future. I'm going to become a physician. You sound sure of yourself, he said. It's only a matter of time. The courses aren't so difficult if you study them properly. Anyone who says otherwise is making excuses. Naturally, not everyone can make it. That's just how it is. If everyone could achieve their dreams, the world might as well collapse. That's very much like you. I was confused by this statement, and my nerves were on end once again. Did I know this chap after all? I studied his face in vain. The darkness was too much. He was slightly taller than me. Maybe he was somebody I've met on campus. I tried to think of a way to catch his face. Say, do you have a light? It's a little... Of course. Give me a moment. He lit a match from his pocket. The bottom half of his face was illuminated, but I still couldn't think of anything. Despite being taller, he had an odd youth about him. How to say it? Well, normally at that age, a man begins to grow hair on their chin. Even when one shaves himself, there will still be little pocks where the hair will grow. No, for him, it was completely smooth. There was a roundness to his jaw that made me think of pubescent. Pubescent? I can't say that word for some reason. Prepubescent. I was thinking too much of it, so he caught me in the act. Something on my face? No, I quickly thought of something. I just don't recognize the uniform, so I suppose we won't be seeing each other at school. No, I suppose not. In the distance, I heard the blaring of a train. These tracks aren't used anymore, or I don't know who's saying this. Sometimes it's hard to tell. It's read like a book, you know. Sometimes when you write a book, it's like they don't, mention who's talking. I guess the stranger is saying this. These tracks aren't used anymore, remember? Of course. We would walk all along them all the time back then. We did? Well, normally I was too scared to, but you would push me along. I pushed back. Eventually, we would end up walking the tracks. We walked to school like that all the time. Paulo. Yes, it was Paulo, a friend from years ago. We'd studied together and walked along the train tracks, just as he said. I still couldn't see much of his face, but his voice still carried the same measured timbre as it had years ago. I was tempted to let out a laugh, but stopped before the empty tunnel would catch my voice. I suddenly became wary of the space around me as Paulo patted my shoulder in a friendly manner. Took you long enough. I was beginning to think you've forgotten all about me. Well, I've just been busy with school. My mind is a little tired. Of course. School. I see. Also, what was that? We had studied together for some time with the goal of going to the same university. The bar was extremely high, so we put our all into it. Paulo just smiled at me. Of course, hard work is important, but there's also a matter of natural ability. Some people are just built with better aptitude than others. It's by the grace of God these things come to be. Truly, it's out of our hands. Just checking. Can you save? I don't think you save. I don't know if it matters. Paulo, I heard a train. It must be your imagination. How far is the exit? Probably a while. What, you don't trust nobody? It is out of our power how we are born, so it's naturally out of my power when I was selected for university. My friend was left to the wayside. He said he was just try again and be my underclassman, but Paulo tried again and again. He entered countless essays and repeated the tests over and over, but he somehow was unable to pass. By the grace of God, he simply couldn't. I fell out of contact because I naturally became so busy. There, it's at the tunnel mouth. It's going to hit us. You're worrying too hard. It's merely the pounding rain. Please understand, I hardly had time to even eat. It was cutthroat. Our futures were just going in different directions, and some to better places than others. No, up there. A light. It's coming. Ah. I turned to run the other direction, the small hope I would be dashed to bits. But a hand clamped to my shoulder so hard I nearly flung back. A hand so biting cold, I could feel it through my coat and in my bones. Where are you going? Are we going to walk through this place? Together as friends? I remembered this coldness. On a day with biting rain, I heard the news. After failing the entrance exam once more, my old friend Paulo wandered up onto a bridge far after midnight and flew over the railing just as the train passed. Oh, okay. Turns out friend's dead. All right. See ya, Simplicity, by the way. The rumbling was getting closer. The light was creating a burning halo around him. The sound was piercing me. The light was piercing me. The sound was piercing me. The light was piercing me. The other end of the tunnel was just too far away. Was I going to die? At last, I could see his face, young and just as piercing as the light behind him. You were good at running ahead. The path always seemed to open just for you. Me, though, I could hardly get my foot in the door. Why? Why is it you? Why can you do it and I can't? Why is it you? The light was burning me. In that moment, I was sure I'd die, that everything I had worked for until now would have been smashed to bits. But then, the match, which was burning down to his fingertips, split into two and vanished into darkness. Paulo and the train disappeared at once. I was left alone in the dark of the tunnel with nothing but silence and the vague glint of the train tracks which had been abandoned long ago. And so that's the end of the story. As I said before, I'm not into the cult. Surely there's a scientific explanation for all of this. This is like very, very like personal thing where I learned about my dead like friend who committed suicide. I don't know about it. Perhaps I came up a bit cruel in my retelling. I can understand how someone uneducated might see it as such. I feel like he didn't learn his lesson though. He didn't learn his lesson about like looking down on people. Anyway, he gives a resolute huff. He's convinced himself of something. Academia is an extremely cutthroat business. If you're unable to keep up, then it's your own fault. Nobody argues with him. Back to drinking once again. Alright? Well, that's his story. And he's as arrogant as ever. Don't know if he's learned his lesson or he's just simply trying to, relieve his own guilt by pretending, to continue acting this way. But alright, let's see. Okay, fine. Let's learn about the sexy female. The token sexy female. That's like, yes, I'm so sexy. I don't know. And she probably like sings at a bar or something. I don't know. Anyway. So you want a story from me, huh? Well, I got my fair share of stories. But scary ones aren't exactly my forte. Mostly I've just got tales of heartbreak. But maybe there's one. She takes a slow sip and sighs. How do you start these things? Whatever. It doesn't matter how I tell it. What's done is done, right? So it doesn't matter what I say. What was it? How was it? The beloved Jewel Spider. Once, there was a woman and her daughter. They loved each other very much. The woman brushed her daughter's hair every night and sang gentle songs to calm her. The time they spent together was truly the most happy time they had in either of their lives. Do you love me? Of course, Mama. How much do you love me? More than anything. You're such a good girl. Mama will give you a present, see? The woman gave her daughter a strange little box. It was thick and heavy, with a large clasp in the front. If you're ever in trouble, just open this box. Mama will come help you. Mama, I can just ask you if I'm in trouble. Of course, but one day. The woman continued to sing. Her gentle voice soothed the little girl, so the yelling from the next door or from the next room almost completely disappeared. When it was time to sleep, the girl snuggled close or I can't, I'm talking, I can't speak. When it was time to sleep, the girl snuggled close so that she could only smell her mother's sweet perfume instead of stink of alcohol that permeated the air. She drifted off to sleep in her mother's arms, forgetting about the cramped room where they lived. La-di-da. One day, the little girl came home from school, and it was raining. She scrambled up the steps and pulled open the door. "Mama, I'm home." Inside, she saw... Papa, what did you... The time the woman and her daughter spent together was truly the happiest time in either of their short lives. With the box hugged to her chest, the girl knew those days of love were never coming back. "Mama." The girl became a woman, and that woman became cold. She lived in an apartment where the scent of alcohol permeated the air of a man who wasn't her husband. They got along fine unless they didn't. The man borrowed her money, and the woman borrowed his time. Okay. "Hey, you have a little extra cash you could spot me?" "I gave you all I had last week." "Useless. You haven't lent your man a little spending money. What kind of woman are you?" Isn't this usually the opposite? It's kind of weird. I feel like in most societies, it's like the opposite, right? It's the woman that's supposed to be borrowing money from the man. If the man's borrowing money, I mean, that's just kind of like, I mean, it's, it's gender norms and whatnot, but usually, traditionally anyway, if the man's borrowing money, I mean, come on, you're like, I don't know, you're like worse than trash. I don't know. Anyway, unless, I don't know, that's just in this context anyway, of course. This obviously looks like an abusive relationship. Anyway, well, what kind of man are you? You can't even keep a job. "Shut up, useless. Why don't you go out and try working a little? Don't come back till you got something to show for yourself." So that was the exchange. And when returning to that cramped little hole, the woman could see that hideous man asleep with a glass tipped over next to him. Then he woke up, or when he woke up, she knew he'd be angry, that he would blame it all on her, and she would be tossed in the night again. Drifting off to sleep, she couldn't help but mourn her mother. She was the only one who ever loved her, and she was the only one she could love. And the rest of this world is just too dirty. Actually, I don't know. It looked like, I'm not sure if it's her father or she said it was someone who was not her husband. So I don't know. That implies that it's a partner, not like her father, right? But it seems like if it is like a partner, it seems like I don't know, she just got with someone that's exactly just like her father, which, that's also a bit of a cliche as well, don't you call that daddy issues? Anyway, scratch. The woman kept the box after all those years. She hadn't opened it up yet. There's no point, but for some reason, there was a sound from the box. Something was alive in there. It was trying to get out. Scratch. Scratch. The woman turned over and tried to go back to sleep. There was a comfort there. The scratching was almost like a lullaby. And her eyes closed, she could almost feel her mother's arms around her. Another day of dirtiness, another day of pounding rain. How irritating. The breath, I hate it. The woman went home as usual. The man stunk more than ever and yelled as soon as she opened the door. "It's not enough. Aren't you trying? Useless. Muda. Anyway, you're doing this just to spite me, aren't you? What did I ever do to you?" "It's not my fault you gamble everything. You spend it faster than I can make it." "You don't understand how hard it is for me. Can a man try to relax every once in a while? The economy isn't so great, so I expect to treat you like the Queen of Sheba. I'm asking you to help out, so help out." "Come on, answer me. What's so funny, huh? Is this funny to you?" Your breath. "Quit joking around." The man froze. The box in the corner was shaking. "What's that? Hey, what the hell is that?" The box was shaking more and more. The man's grip tensed from nervousness. "My mother is in that box." Quit joking around." "My mother was killed by my father. Did you know that? She was killed by him, and now she's in that box. She's looking after me even now. Okay. Okay, that confirms it. This is not her father. This is just, her partner that's just as abusive as her father. Anyway, you're lying. She gave me that box before she died. She said if I was in trouble, I should open it. What's in it then? I told you already. His grip loosened slowly. The air from the room had been sucked out in place of only the sound of light scratching. The man and the woman laid down and closed their eyes, but neither of them went to sleep that night. Once again, the woman was forced to go out and look for work. She brushed her hair and applied her makeup as the man smoked a cigarette, his eyes stuck on the box. You said when you're in trouble you should open the box, right? That's what my mother told me. Well, we've been in some trouble with money, all right. Don't touch that box. Huh? What'd you say to me? I'm just saying, we've been in some money trouble is all. I've been managing just fine. Maybe there's some kind of jewel in there. Something to sell for good money. I said don't touch it. Come on, don't you want to see how much a mother's love is worth? The woman left for work with a loud and bitter laugh. Another day of dirtiness. Another day of pounding rain. The streetlights flickered on, the water droplets catching the light and blurring the buildings together. The woman trudged home after a long day of work. Again, I feel like the sound is like a little low. There's a way to like increase the sound. Oh. Again, I'll probably fix this, in post-processing. Anyway, a long day of work. The scent of cigarettes, beer, and sweat soaked her through. She suddenly thought of her mother's perfume, and through the rain, she thought she could hear a familiar tune. She ran as fast as her legs could take her. She scrambled up the stairs to her apartment and pressed her face against the door. The song could be heard inside. Behind the door, which held so many stains and fights and bruises, was an ocean of happy memories. In a world so dirty and cruel, how could you bring back those days of love? It's easy. You just have to open the box. There it was. A spider that shone like jewels, dangling from the ceiling. A sweet scent hung in the air as the beautiful melody rang out. On the ground, the box lay open and empty. The curious dude just opened the box, of course. Please, please. Such a miracle could only make her laugh. Oh, come on, baby. Now do you see how much a mother's love is worth? Okay, there you go. And there you have it. They live happily ever after. That's how all good stories end, right? Oh, you look upset. Were you expecting something different? Or maybe the ending doesn't sound that happy to you. That doesn't matter either way. The little girl in the story wasn't me, so don't go dreaming. Once again, she acts elusive. Or perhaps that's just an unchangeable fact. Yeah, sometimes, there's like two, there's two like boxes, there's this dialogue and this dialogue. Well, sometimes it's not dialogue, it's descriptive. I don't know which one to read first, Anyway, it's just a little tale I learned off the street. Okay. Makes me wonder how real any of these stories are, I mean, obviously they're meant to be fictional, but maybe they're just metaphors for what happened in real life, I wonder. My guess is that this guy killed his friend, and this woman also, killed her partner. I imagine that these are just metaphors, for what they actually did. And that's my guess anyway. I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, let's talk to this guy. This fellow, this gentleman. The old man is more relaxed than anyone else here. You've got a good eye, kid. I got plenty of spooks left in me. Well, when you live a life like mine, you gotta get a few spooks. Plenty of sour times and things you can't talk about in front of children. But besides that, I do got a good story to tell. It was back in the day when I wasn't so damn wrinkled. Okay. I don't know what voice I'm giving. I don't know. The sand casket. It's not the kind of business you could talk about. Not then or now, but it brought in money. It was because of a real man's work. I had big dreams, and the boss said I had promise. I was naive, but I still was rough around the edges. It was a different time, all right. You could tell I was a garbage man. I took out the trash when everyone was asleep. Nice and easy. Down the beach with a cliff. I can't speak. Nice and easy down the beach to a cliffside. At a sight like you wouldn't believe. I finished the job, stare out into the sea, I can't speak. I finished the job and stare out into the sea, taking in the scents. Now that I think of it, it's damn crazy I never got caught. You should hang around the places you do business. Alright, I was caught, but it wasn't in the ordinary way. Even my golden years, I can't forget what I found in the sand. I finished my business and was taking in the moonshine, but I could have sworn there was a silhouette on the shore. Obviously, that's going to set off some red alarms. This place was pretty out of the way, so I reached out for the piece and dared to look closer. Chasing the waves was some little kid. Big droopy eyes and a carefree smile. What the hell was the kid doing all the way out here? Hey, you, is the old man saying this? I don't know. Hey, you, come over here. Like a good kid, he tottered over. You could tell he was raised well. Youngins with manners like that normally come from good families. Hi, little guy. So tell me, where's your mom? What? No response? You could tell by his threads that he wasn't hurt for money or anything. He looked way too young to be some troubled runaway. He was pretty content for a lost baby. I could send him off to the police, but for certain reasons, I just didn't feel like visiting those guys. Like candy, don't you? Yeah, that's it. It was dangerous to have anybody running around during my job, but since it was just a little guy, I figured that he wouldn't be any trouble. My older self would never make such a stupid mistake. That's the kind of thinking that gets you 6 feet under, you know? Even kids can be hired, you know? They're gonna rat you out. Anyway, it actually became a ritual of mine to finish up work and sit and watch the ocean, the mystery child, sharing hard candies between us. What an odd pair we must have been. Rowdy no good like me and some upper class air stuffing our faces with sweets. You know, you shouldn't accept candy from strangers, but oh well. I decided not to think too hard about where he came from. I had given up my own past long ago. One night. That hell of a night. What? I don't understand why it caught me off guard, but the mystery kid has such a damn sad look on his face. All I could think of was driftwood floating out at sea, or a hooded little bird. I don't think I've seen anything sadder in my life. Hey, little guy, you hungry? I got extra sweets tonight. But the kid just kept staring out over the waves, sad as hell. Come on, don't tell me, or tell me what's the matter with you. Do you miss your mom or something? Let me help you out. What's the face for, huh? I let the kid lead me across the shore. So I had my goods on me, for Christ's sakes. He ran with all the determination he could muster. All right. We reached the far part of the beach, right under the cliffside. He stood and pointed at the ground, looking at me with those droopy eyes. My first thought was, this kid lost his toy or something. He was playing at the beach and buried it and forgot about it is all. I did it all the time myself as a kid, so naturally I pulled out my shovel and got to thinking. Or got to digging, rather. I thought about digging, so I digged. There's nothing here, I'm telling you. Same response. I began to wonder if this kid was playing tricks on me or what, but something grabbed in my mind. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but sometimes in this line of business, you sense things a little better than most people. At that point, it's up to your own personal brain to decide whether or not you keep going. I was young and very stupid, so you know how I already went already. Damn, it's gotta be. I shoveled more and more sand until it became dark and dense. All the while, the kid was looking at me with wandering eyes. My shovel met something at last. In the dense earth, I spotted a little fleck of white. Deeper. I had to go deeper. Curled up like a cicada shell was a pair of skeletons. A large one with torn dress and pearls, and a smaller one that... Thank you, mister. Okay. Ghost kid. Good. Instead of horror on his face. So that's about it. There was a look of warm nostalgia. Times were very different back then, but the times treated me well. for the most part, but you get a few odd things here and there. Never did get to learn his name or how it happened. No use wondering now, no use wondering then. People disappear every day without a trace, but the world keeps turning. Frankly, I'm happy that I live in a world where things keep turning. I feel like that voice that I gave him is not very good. Well, I've already committed, you know. All right. Sure. I'm gonna save the girl for last. I don't know. She seems the most mysterious, so I'm gonna talk to this guy, French guy. Apparently, we know him. A story from me. I thought you'd never ask, mon ami. The only thing I love more than hearing a story is telling one. Beetle laughs and takes a long drag of the cigarette. Oh, what to do? Yes, this is it. Now lean a little closer. Guardian Angel. Before I was well established in my profession, I was pitifully. I can't speak. I can't read anything. Turns out I'm illiterate. It just so happens that I say things. It just happens to coincidentally, mash the things on screen like 50% of the time. No, Before I was well established in my profession, I was a pitifully penniless youth, traveling the country with little else than the clothes on my back. Not even proper threads, mind you. All shabby, out-of-season hand-me-downs. It depresses me just to remember it. Well, anyhow, you can see how unfortunate I was at the time. There was nights where I would have no coin for shelter, and I liked potato stars just to quell my hunger. I did manage to scrounge up enough to move to the city in hopes that I could find more opportunities there. I rented a small apartment on the lower end. It was cramped, dark space. It was a cramped, dark space, hardly bigger than a closet with a single flickering bulb strung from the ceiling. Typical bachelor's apartment, A bed was a bare mattress held up by a rickety iron frame. I tried not to make such much movement lest I be awoken by rusty creaking. Something peculiar happened the day I settled into my apartment. I was staring up at the ceiling, willing myself to slumber when I felt something at the side of my face. It was like an intense heat. When humans are in such darkness, their senses heighten so that even the slightest rise in temperature can be felt. So, in that darkness, I felt I was not alone. I shot upright and pulled at the bulb switch. I nearly yanked it off, completely in panic. I searched my cramped room but found nothing but mold and mouse holes. How depressing. Of course, I could not possibly sleep after such a feeling, so I headed out of the accursed room for some fresh air. Oi, young'un, ye be lucky to meet me at a time like this. Sitting on the street was a bedraggled old beggar. Her face was shrouded by stained cloth, and her fingers played across the empty air. Something you should know about my profession is that you meet a great many kinds of people. Each person has their own unique path to take, and intersections like these are akin to miracles. You may walk through life lonely and singular, or you may have a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So even in my amateur status, I understood this to be valuable. I wordlessly shuffled closer to the woman. You seem to be wise as wise as well as lucky. Many a young'un walk past and pay with their lives. Wise and lucky ought to stay alive, so I tell you this. Buy this from me for a copper, place it at your bedside, and sleep will come nice and easy. In her outstretched hand, she produced a small communion cracker. Believer I was, the secrets of the universe, but even I had to raise an eyebrow. Besides that, I had little money to spare. In order to make rent, I had to cut down to a single meal a day. Wise and lucky, but still doubtful. Buy this from me and you will see it in time. Everyone on this earth is blessed with a guardian angel. When you lay down to sleep tonight, see how the angel watches over us all. Was she insane or speaking the truth? Either way, she was looking out for my health. I threw her a coin and made my way up the steps. Okay, we just buy into it, I guess. Sounds like a scam to me. I placed the cracker on the thin strip of floor between the bed and the door frame, lamenting my lightened pockets. What in the world? I learned to fall asleep and survive on little more than crumbs. At the end of the week, the beggar woman would appear on the street corner to sell me another blessing. Parting with coin always hurt, but the pain was lessened as my luck began to fly. Somehow, my business was taking off. It seemed that the whims of the city and the wishes of my heart had finally aligned. Magnifique. Magnifique? I don't know how to pronounce it. Magnifique. Magnifique. Magnifique, I guess. Magnifique. But all was not so rosy during these blooming youthful days. I must tell you of, in generous terms, an old friend, who was likewise a young man with little to call his own. He too was in the profession, and had much to say about it. So much to say that our entire walk home was consumed with contemplation. The same evening he told me of his new residence. The beggar lady came for her usual exchange. You're living here? I sure am. I mean, where else could I go into this dump of a city? I found a room last week. Man, this make me miss home. Youngin, before you go off to bed, buy this for me for a copper. Huh? A copper? Miss, I'm not gonna buy the little thing from you when I can buy myself a tall drink. Please, youngin, you will regret it if you... listen to this, she's completely off her rocker. That foolish friend of mine laughed loudly at the woman and spun on his heel. In his place, I exchanged a coin for the communion cracker, but her face looked like she was mourning. It's not too late, Tase. God, you're too generous. You need to learn how to say no to street people. We're hardly getting by ourselves. She might have a point. Just consider it, please. Just go to sleep already. And so just as paths intersect, they part. That night, dear listeners, I heard something I can never forget. I was laying in my bed. It was that my angel staring back at me. The creak of a bed from somewhere in the complex. Hey, who the... What the hell? Hey. The following day, I learned that my friend hadn't shown up for work or so, much as sent word. Or so... I don't know, it's hard to read this. Anyway, the following day I learned that my friend hadn't shown up for work, or so much as sent word. Sometime later, I saw the landlord grumbling around the complex, banging on a certain door with no answer. He seemingly disappeared clean off the face of the earth. How peculiar. But my mind wandered from it as soon as I received a letter saying I'd be accepted to a higher position with much better accommodations. Plans were made, suitcases were packed, and Lord knows how I paid communion up until the very last day. So that's this gentleman's tale of how I lived in my early years. Insightful, to say. I wasn't always so refined. Mon ami, I know how cruel I must sound, but with time you begin to see into people's hearts. You begin to understand who will make it and who will depart. Such is the way of our chosen path. The old fool smiles gently at the memory. Although it gets lonely watching over everyone's path, doesn't it? C'est la vie. Such is life. The other patrons look unnerved by his tale. Oh, what am I doing telling you this? Your icy stare tells you all I need. You're just about frozen over. But to him, it's just a nostalgic conversation. Okay. It's just some spooky stories, that's all. As I eat. Num num num. What am I eating? I'm eating something, I guess. Num num num. Alright, let's talk to the girl. The little girl, who up until now was staring at the ground, finally looks up with steadfast eyes. She opens her mouth to speak, her voice trembles slightly. I have a story. Before I got here, before you all were here too, the tired eyes of the other patrons turned to her. Before I got on the train, there's unspoken fear in the air. Back at home. 5 passengers. What are you whining about now? Okay. There were funny things in Mama's house. A kid was looking out from the closet and walls, but Mama never believed me. Mama. I'm saying Mama, but Mama mia. The other one played lots of jokes on Mama. Mama didn't like them. You nasty child. What, you hate me? What did I ever do to you? Disgusting. Get away from me. I asked the other one why they kept hurting Mama. All they would do was laugh at me. The face got all upturny and they laughed and laughed and laughed. What are you doing? Are you trying to play tricks on me again? Why? Why couldn't I have a normal child? Mama, I am a normal child, but there's a bad child here tricking you. Mama, please believe me. Somebody was playing at night. There was a big crack on the floor. Ah, no, no, no. Mama's mirror was smashed on the ground. Why? Why are you always so mean to me? I hate you. I tried to put the mirror back together, but there were too many pieces. The other one laughed at me over and over. Everything was broken. No matter what I do, things break. I'm a normal child, so why is it here too? That night, I decided to run away. Everyone will be happy if I'm gone. Mama won't have to cry anymore. I ran to the station where all the trains are, but no one was looking. I jumped up on board and sat down. I wanted to go far, far away, to a place where no one would know me. The train was cold and loud. The light flickered a lot. It was empty and lonely, except for 5 of the passengers. On board there was a pretty lady looking sadly out the window. A man with little glasses grumbling a lot. A fancy man with a little mustache humming to himself. And a nice grandpa who gave me candy. Okay, so those are the people we saw before. Interesting. Sweet. I wonder if if in my new home I can get candy like this too. Will I meet somebody as nice as that grandpa? That would be nice. Eating the candy, I counted the passengers in the car. 1, 2, 3, 4. What? I thought I saw 5 passengers. The 5th one was... No, not again. You can't be here. Get away right now. The train began to shake back and forth. Everyone started yelling. Everything began to rumble and I fell off my seat. The world turned in circles over and over and over. I was trying to be a good child. I never played any tricks on anyone. I never complained about my bedtime. I never talked back. So why? Why did this happen? I was trying to be a good child. I never played any tricks on anyone. I'm sorry, everyone. Sorry, Mama. That's what happened. Her voice peters out softly. The eyes locked on her now look desperately to each other. Nervously, the doctor speaks up. Well, she's quite the creative little girl, isn't she? Monsieur, you've got the goosebumps. The doctor scrambles for his words. It's just the chilly air, alright? It's pretty late. What are you laughing at? The old man simply grins and muses softly. Oh yeah, the air is pretty chilly tonight. I've already decided long ago that I wouldn't regret anything. A man in my position doesn't get to be picky, you see, so chills like these don't bother me a bit. Truthful words, monsieur. Very few men in this day and age understand the nature of chills. The 2 older men laugh together as the doctor looks on in horror. You're all crazy, all of you. I need to get out of here right this instant. Where's my train at? And by pure coincidence, he is cut off by a muddy train horn. All of the faithful souls sit in utter silence. Despite the differences, there is an instant understanding between them. Time stops for no one, and the train won't wait forever. There's your way out, big man. Don't want to miss it. The lady takes a languid sip and eyes the panicked doctor. Slowly, the bespectacled man leaves his seat and walks in the direction of the horn. And after a little while, the lady follows after him. Even now, her expression hasn't changed. The old man finishes his drink and smiles warmly. He extends a wrinkled hand to the little girl. Don't want to be late, little lady. Miraculously, the girl accepts. The 2 walk hand in hand till their figures are overtaken by the dark. How heartwarming. What a perfect way to end the story. What am I saying? The night isn't nearly over yet. Oh, please, mon ami. Can't you indulge in this temporary bliss? I know what we must do, but there's no use in us complaining. As payment for straying from the path, We must assist Madame Fortune's grand plan. But, oh, how magnifique it would be if things had turned out differently. Maybe I'll become an actor on the silver screen. How my features will shine. The gruff wanderer speaks for the first time that night. I don't know what I be. In contrast to his intimidating appearance, his voice came out as fragile as a child. I don't know where I be. My mind goes blank when I think of anything else. Maybe this is all I was meant to do. Still much to do. But we must go on regardless. It is said in such a countryside, you may come across a man with a trail of cigarette smoke behind him. He speaks little and keeps to himself unless the powers that be force his hand. These people who wander without home or fortune carry a painful duty upon their shoulders. Any lost soul they find their journey must be cut down without mercy. A life of endless meetings and partings. That is a curse of a reaper. Right on time. The last of them have been delivered. Well, almost. You already know, don't you? I too was on that train. Funny, isn't it? Even though we're separate from the rest of humanity, we can bleed like any average man. I do it myself, but it seems that my own power is ineffective against myself. So the duty of deliverance falls under your friend. Think of it this way. If you leave me in this phantasmal form, I'll eventually unbecome myself. Each part of me will chip away in the wind until nothing remains. So don't be sad. Being a reaper really is a wonderful thing. We can meet again. And we can trade stories and eat well. Just as we have tonight. Alone on the edge of town, in the countryside, a reaper stands with white knuckles around the handle of a well-kept sickle. The spirits of the town push in and out of the train, going somewhere far away, far beyond. He knows one day he'll be cut down just as his friend was. He'll exit this world as alone as he lived it. Huh? You. Little girl. You're not dead. We will inevitably meet tragedy in our lives. Some will weep more than others. But it's said that the more dire the path, the more brilliant the miracles. A sum of wealth landing into your pockets, a brush of danger that leaves you untouched. Or perhaps it's something as simple as two lonely souls crossing paths. Okay, I don't know what that implied at the end there. I'm not entirely sure. But okay, I think the idea. Okay, I guess you can start again. I'm assuming this is the main menu. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know how all the stories tie in together. I don't know if they do or not. And I don't know if it matters. But I think the idea is that the only like real story was involving the little girl. I guess apparently the little girl has the other, like the other one, which is implied to be like a supernatural split personality that has the power to like kill everyone on the train. I don't know how that works exactly, but I don't know. Maybe there's a metaphor here that I'm missing. But I'm assuming those people that we were listening to stories from, those people were fated to die, as in they were already dead, is the idea. And the character, that we really briefly only see from the beginning and in the end, is the Reaper, as a Grim Reaper, someone who I guess, reaps their souls is the idea. So their duty was to kill them, right? And that includes the French guy too, apparently. Apparently there's multiple Reapers, and apparently you can become a Reaper even though you're mortal. So if you die, then I don't know, it's weird, but if you die, then you have to be killed by another Reaper. I don't know what the rules are. But I think it's implied, though, the little girl herself also became a Reaper. Is the idea? Again, I don't know how it works. Does she age, or was she already dead? But then you become a Reaper, I guess, miraculously. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the prerequisites are. Do you have to send in a resume to like, the Grim Reaper Society? I don't know. Anyway, I guess that's the implication that she also became a Reaper, and thus their journey is to be together, right? Cutting down, countless souls who have died, and to keep killing them over and over again, or at least, not so much kill them because they're technically already dead, I think is the idea. And so you're just simply, you know, giving the coup de grace is the idea. Maybe? I think that's the idea. I don't know. Again, I'm not sure, but their stories kind of imply that they done bad things, maybe, I mean, obviously there's the guy who robbed, people and everything. There's a guy who I feel like it was implied that he killed his friend, and also the woman who killed a partner, but I'm not sure though. That could just be like a crackpot theory, and maybe it doesn't matter. It just so happens that they all happen to die in the same place, and that's why we are supposed to reap their souls in the same place. We happen to also hear their stories, I guess. I'm assuming the ghost stories really, like the ghost stories themselves, are a little spooky, I guess, but that's not the point really. It's more so learning about them, learning about their personalities and everything. How the doctor is very arrogant, has very insecure, I imagine, about his like um intelligence, so that's why he acts like that, and like stuff like that. And the woman, talks about her like her like traumatic past, and of course, the old man, talks about his adventures as like criminal or whatever is the idea, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. It's just more so about learning about the characters rather than the actual like spooky part, which to be honest is not really that scary. I guess I guess it's just like, I don't know what you call it, but like it's not that scary. The actual spooky part. Um, yeah, I don't know, but I guess that's the idea. I really like the game itself. It's kind of like a little compilation of short stories plus like an overarching plot, I guess. Is how it's set up. And yeah, I mean, how do I feel about it? I mean, I think it's all right. I like the art. The art is really good, by the way. It's very like unique and it stands out. Um, the writing is okay as well. I feel like there's a few typos. Not too bad, really. It might be because of me also misreading parts as well. But there's at least I think a few typos, a couple at the very least. I think there's some words that you just mistyped or something. But other than that, I think it's good. I like how like there's like I mean it was hard for me to read, but it was interesting how like there was descriptive text over here and then there's like dialogue over here, or both. It's like there's like two things going on at the same times, and sometimes it's kind of interesting, how like things are happening simultaneously. It's kind of I don't know what the tone the game was trying to give necessarily, but it did give a bit of like a chaotic feel to it. If things are happening two times in a row. I don't know if that's a good thing or not sometimes, but like when it is appropriate, it's actually pretty cool. How like you're supposed to be reading this, but then something's happening over here. It's interesting. Um, and I guess yeah. What else? I mean, the only thing, I mean, again, I mentioned this already, but like the sound of the game though is really low. I gotta say, and there's no way to turn it up. I feel like I'm gonna need to again increase the volume. When I edit this, I feel like because on OBS I can see it's just really low. Uh, I'll fix that later, I guess. Um, but yeah, anything else? Yeah, I mean, yeah, overall, it's just it was enjoyable. I gotta say, again, I wasn't really all that scared. It was tagged as horror. I don't think it's meant to be scared necessarily. Um, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I guess like spooky ghost stories just doesn't sound all that scary to me. Especially when it's like especially I had the vibe where like all these people are. I feel like I kind of already knew that actually from the very beginning. It wasn't much of a plot twist really, but yeah, I kind of knew that all these people were all gonna die. Just from the implication, really, just from the very beginning. Even kind of like mentions, waiting for Midnight Train, and they're serving lost souls. Even the prologue even mentions like something like that, right? So I felt like it was kind of obvious. But anyway, but yeah, I guess that's it for Reapers. Goodbye. But yeah, I guess if you're watching the video and if you wanna, see more content, then don't forget to click on the subscribe button. I also stream these games live, so if you get notified as well, you can change the notification setting from personalized to all. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Until next time, see you then. Yeah. How happens if I click on this again? Does it just restart the game? Just want to check real quick. Okay, yeah. It just does that, and then I imagine you click on it again, and then restarts. I imagine. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of like it's not bad, like technically speaking. It's just it didn't really resonate with me, I guess, is the idea. No, it almost had like a Junji Ito kind of feel to it as well. It almost Junji Ito, but I feel like again, this might be like a tolerance thing because I played so many horror games, but I just felt like it didn't go far enough. It's kind of like, oh, spooky, and then that's it. It's like, oh no, this thing is like a little spooky, haha. It's like little stories you would tell the children. It's like little scary stories you would tell the like 10-year-olds or something. Is how I feel, and maybe that's the point. Maybe it's not supposed to be all that scary. It's just a family friendly for the most part. I mean, there's death and suicide, but it's kind of implied rather than like really dwelt upon, I guess. Or maybe I'm just I don't know. Maybe I'm what's the word? Not immune. What numb? I guess. Yeah, I'm numb to it. I guess. Whereas like these topics that are kind of dark is like yeah, I've seen darker. So like whatever. I don't know. Anyway, all right. I guess that's it. Let's see. Is there anything? About 3 hours. Should I do one more? I'm not sure if I want to do one more. Depends on how long this one is. I actually don't know how long this one is. 5 different endings. There's this other game that I wanted to try, but I just don't know how long it is. Apparently, there's like 5 endings. It's a Yumi Nikki kind of game, but I don't want to play a game that's gonna take like more than an hour. Is the problem? Because after that, I'm gonna be tired. I don't know. I could just end it here, I guess. It's only been 3 hours though, but I can't think of anything else I want to play at the moment. There's something called, there's a game called Super Beast Hunt that looks interesting. It's a platformer, really. I also bought a game called Scar of the Doll. It's apparently a remake, but it's relatively long. It seems to me, I estimate it would take like 2 streams, like 8 hours. That's probably nothing. That's not a game I can play right at the moment. And a bunch of like stuff on the backlog, which I don't know if I'll ever do. There's also the Forest of Drizzling Rain, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, You and Me and Her, a love story. All these games are they're just long, so I don't know. I'll play them. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that'll be it. You know what? I think I'll just end it here. I don't know what I'm gonna do, so I think I'll just end it here. So I'll just let's see. That's like, this guy just walks into the field forever. I think I'll just hit the screen button. But there you go. I think that'll be today. I think a bit of a shorter stream, I guess. That's fine. I mean, I went longer last time, so it balances out, right? I also want to spend some more time off screen for Emerald Wasp because there's an ending I didn't get yet, which I contacted the developer and they did fix it. So I want to record that off screen if possible. There's an ending I didn't get in that game from yesterday's stream, and also the bonus room as well, which apparently the meadow was actually in a place that I did not find out actually. So it was in a secret place. But yeah. But I think that'll be it for today. So there you go. Did some taxes, read some ghost stories, and that'll be it for today. And let me just say, my usual schedule is Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern time, and I guess well, tomorrow is also kind of like an off day, but I'm not sure. It depends. I don't know if I feel like just editing videos tomorrow, or maybe I'll stream one more thing. I guess we'll see. I may or may not stream tomorrow, but who knows? But either way, next week as well, I'll continue streaming as usual, too. So there you go. All right. I guess let me just say, yeah. Thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you around. Bye bye.